There we go.
Leave
Welcome.
meeting.
Thank God for Audacity. All right. Welcome, everyone, to Out in the Woods' first ever big clug of a queer get-together. Here I've gathered familiar faces from seasons past to eat, drink, and be messy. Coffee Witch Zane, Southern Siren Alex, Tenured Professor Cameron, Fairy God Auntie Sai, and Satan's favorite shrink, Dylan. Of course, me too, your friendly Gayborhood host, Jacob, would like to welcome you all to Out in the Woods, Large Sweet Tea. All right, everybody, that's the intro. How's everybody doing?
Tenured Professor. I like it.
Ooh, I'm a fairy bitch. I'm dark fairy type.
I'm a very bad student.
Get the ruler after her, y'all. Okay. So, really quick before we all get started, Cameron, I want you to take
yes, my love.
I want you to take this moment to speak your piece from all the sweet teas that you have missed. Because I feel like you have feelings, and I feel like you have opinions, Cameron, that you just really need to get off your chest.
Me, opinions, feelings, never. Okay. Hi, hello. First of all, good evening to our our friendly Gayborhood host, Jacob. Good evening to my distinguished fellow panel of illustrious guests, to the dear listeners of Out in the Woods, and to the distinguished panel of judges. Hi, my name is Cameron Petrie, and I would just like to publicly come out and state that I am not a Demi Lovato stan, nor am I a fan at this point. And while I love our friendly Gayborhood host, he loves to let my name slip out of those luscious lips whenever I'm not around. And I just needed to publicly state that I am not a Demi Lovato stan nor fan at this point. I did appreciate the last album that came out when it came out. But, you know, since then, things have changed with the one Demi Lovato. And let's just say I am no longer subscribed to the Demi Lovato station, nor am I tuned in. However, I will say, and I'd like to open the floor back up with this, I have thoroughly been enjoying Adele's album 30. Thank you. I give the rest of my time back to our host.
Thank you, Cameron. You've done so well. Now you can leave. No, I'm just kidding.
Good night.
Good night. I enjoyed 30. I think I enjoyed 25 more, but I really enjoyed 30. Anybody else?
It was definitely one of those that for me that had to be. It was a slow burn because I don't typically listen to like albums all at once. Like usually it'll be 2 or 3 years after the albums come out that I finally heard the whole thing. But I think it's good. I agree with you that I liked 25 more. But Easy on Me's pretty sick.
Oh yeah. Also the opening song. The opening song is really, really good. I really enjoyed that one.
Agreed. The opener really kind of sets you up for like how she's feeling for the rest of the album. And I do want to say, like, as an album as a whole, if people aren't aware, that she like talked to Spotify to like get rid of the shuffle button on her album, so you are forced to not shuffle it and listen to it as a whole, at least by default. And as a whole, it's just chef's kiss. But yes, the opener is really good.
I don't know about everybody else, but as an Apple Music subscriber, I don't have that shuffle button problem.
Ooh.
Your library just sounds like shit.
Sorry, I'm just loyal to Spotify, you know, the host of Anchor who produces our podcast.
Oh, God. Oh, oh shit.
We love them both. We love them both.
Yeah, they have. Look, there's no monopoly on music, thank God. Sai, you seem to be very reactive whenever Cameron came out as a non-Demi stan anymore. How are you feeling in that moment?
Well, we can't all be fans of the X-Files. And I think I'll just leave it there.
I think I'll just leave it there.
I think
Do I
when
like the X-Files?
I think when X-Files comes back, Demi Lovato needs to play one of the new agents that's there specifically for the welfare of aliens, and equal represent, like the HR for the alien race that's trying to take over Earth. I think that would be
the HRC for aliens.
Yeah. Well, we can't call them aliens though. Extraterrestrials. The ERC.
I was about to say, Demi is somewhere being so triggered right now.
They're gonna send you a letter every month
asking for like a $25 donation and you get a free tote. Like,
yeah,
you get to name them.
You get to figure out their pronouns. They might be Gleep or Glorp.
So now that we've gotten that out of the way, that was the thing that I was just the most scared of, was finally confronting Cameron, because listeners, if you don't know, Cameron's very volatile.
Again, at least I'm here to defend myself this time. Not true. I feel very attacked. I feel like Laganja Stranja in this moment, just feeling my feelings.
To be fair, Cameron, how many of the sweet teas? I feel like each.
So literally, like every sweet tea that doesn't have me, my name gets drawn.
Right. It's at this point you're the Jamie Lee Curtis of sweet tea.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
I'll take it.
Or Jamie Lynn Spears?
Oh, no. I will say,
to all of them.
Since the last time I was here, Brittany has been freed. So
yes, actually, since the last sweet tea in general, Brittany has been freed. So let's all give some snaps for that.
Snaps to the children.
Snaps, yes. And you know what?
Death to all of them.
Death to all of them.
That will never not be funny to me.
A curse on his fields. So yeah, like, honestly, like, if she doesn't do another album, I won't be mad. I'll be happy that she's just free to do whatever the fuck she wants, you know?
I'm right now very happy that she is free to go the fuck off on Instagram about her family, about people. Like, Brittany is very Kill Bill energy right now, and I'm here for it. Like, she is writing to filth everybody.
Taking no prisoners.
They tried to bring back Christina for just like a hot second. I was just like,
and every single one of us is the woman from Kill Bill that tear the bitch apart.
Bitch apart. This is why you don't mess with the Yakuza. So, y'all, what's the job struggle this week?
Going.
That part.
Next question. Alex answered for all of us. Next question.
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I know Zane works in retail. I work in food service. Yeah, Black Friday. And Black Friday is basically like the beginning of like the last month of the year being hell for everybody. Because like at this point now it's like, okay, everybody's like shopping, making returns, shopping more, making more returns, and they gotta eat and they gotta shop. So they're gonna be entitled wherever they go. And so, you know, if you're out there in the customer service industry, let me and Zane just say we're here with you in solidarity. We love you and you will make it through it just like you did every year previously.
in case you don't, you know, you may not, and that's okay too.
Yeah, you can quit. Everybody's doing it.
I was gonna say, yeah, feel very free to quit your job. It's not worth it, and it's not gonna get you anywhere.
And you
Right.
may die. You may also
Right, like,
die. And
you
that's
may
Also, just
die,
fucking
like,
die.
But
Some
you can
kind-
take a few people down with you.
And
Yes.
that's the goal.
I mean, honestly, we're always talking about like what would happen to the economy if everybody made more money, but like, what if everybody just fucking quit? Let's see what
Yeah.
happens. Let's see
Or
what the
died.
billionaires do. I was gonna say, let's see what happens. Well, they already tried that with the pandemic. They're still trying it with the pandemic, but like, you know, they had to make the game fair, so they put out vaccines so that we might stand a chance. But like, yeah, no, like, what if we all just quit and or died? What would the billionaires do then?
Eat us.
Turn us into a real life Squid Game.
Eat their actual cash.
Probably
Yeah, they don't know what else to do with it.
I was gonna say they literally
really
have-
don't.
They literally do not. Hey, Jeff
They're certainly not
Bezos.
solving homelessness.
Jeff Bezos, if you're listening right now, get a wig.
What the fuck?
Fuck
Oh.
you. That too. I hope that your punishment in hell is that you have to eat all of the feces that all of your workers have to shit into boxes because you don't give them time for bathroom breaks. So yeah. For eternity.
No, and as somebody who was working at the Bezos plantation last year this time, I have insight on those shits and boxes.
Come on, Sai. Come on with it.
And
Could that be the tea I bring? Is this how I die? Anyway, like, so I know exactly what bag they're shitting in. It's one of the delivery bags that has all the packages in it that the customers have to touch. So to me, I'm like, well, no one cleans those bags. And so, you know, that's one. And then number two, technically, you know, is that like kind of it's a fuck you to Jeff Bezos. Like, they don't have to shit in that bag. There are many things they could have shat in prior to that. Also, and I mean, like, and then like you don't have to return the bag. Throw it out because there's thousands of them. Like, so the act of shitting in the bag and then returning said shat is in fact a political statement.
Said shat.
Yes, said shat.
Revolution via targeted pooping. That's the future, honey.
You found your bag, babe.
I'm ready.
Because,
All
like,
right, let's go.
Yes, let's shit in this bag and send it back to let them know what we think.
Signing up to work at Amazon now.
That part. I'm done.
Next
So
question. Oh my god.
Right.
All sweet teas should be large sweet teas now. Honestly, that's what I'm starting to figure out now. Y'all, if you were a flavor of tea, what flavor would you be?
I will open it up, if I may, since we had a very thorough discussion last time you and I had a sweet tea together. I'm just going to say I would be McDonald's sweet tea. Sugary sweet, good to drink. Thank you.
See, and this reminder, he has lots of Black friends. So that's for this reason.
Let us say that I did grow up in a Black church, yes.
Represent Cam.
My answer is probably the tea I've been drinking a lot of lately. I have a toasted coconut almond black tea, and I am at this point probably 60% this tea anyways. So I'm gonna go with that.
Can I just say you look like that as well tonight with the sweater and the bees and honey
Thank you.
poster, if I may, behind you. You just
Yes, I got
very
this at Old
festive.
Navy, and me and my husband made this. It's a puzzle.
Oh, nice. No, oh, it's a puzzle.
We didn't have enough problems in our relationship, so we went and
That-
bought one.
If I may, that is pretty gay.
I would like to go through how many flavors of nuts were in that tea again.
It's just coconut and almond.
Okay, cool beans.
So we're queer. We have no problem with lots of nuts.
That part. That's why I was like, this
Okay.
is very nutty
I was
tea.
gonna say this.
Like, I was like, good God. Like,
It
I
tastes.
heard so many more nuts. I was like, hazelnut, coconut.
That's fat
I'll add them. I
bastards.
love a good nut.
Hey, hey, it got started now. It got started now. Get that nut. Get that nut.
I do.
Get that nut, boo. That's the secret to that youth.
You can't.
As the wine is sipped.
You can't spell nutty without nut and tea. So there you go. I mean, look.
That's so Mr. Rogers of it all. Just bless. I think I would be a jasmine, like a jasmine black sweet tea. Yeah, like you can find me like they can maybe make me right in a pho restaurant.
If they can only make you right in a pho restaurant, baby, that's how you know that you are one of a kind.
The hurtful truth of that, though, because jasmine tea is so hard to make.
That part.
It's
I'm
so difficult.
I'm difficult. That's how I was like, I'm difficult. You call nuts for you. 2 nuts for you, Black Coco.
May I make a quick side using the term Jasmine real quick, if I may? When I was 5 years old, I got Jasmine, the princess Barbie doll for Christmas. And this Christmas, my niece is turning 5 and I'm getting her an Ariel doll. So kind of full circle moment. And I'm wondering if I should just like bring that up. Hey fam, y'all remember when y'all got me that Jasmine Barbie doll at 5 years old? I just want,
If you're ready for them to look at you like this,
right, seriously,
then like go ahead.
Like, did you really need to? Yeah. No. I might just bring it up in passing, and just let it go. Just let it float, We'll see.
That's so and especially since you weren't allowed to watch, like
Disney was cool for the most part, yeah, but like anything on television, like we didn't have Disney Channel. You know what I mean? We had like Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon, those big 3 for like 6 months, and then they were gone. But anyway, back to the tea question. I'm sorry. Back to you.
No.
Back to you.
Right. I just always love bringing up Cameron's trauma because I know one of you is writing books about it. It's not, I mean,
I appreciate you too, Zach.
So my response is is an iced raspberry black tea with a shot of creme de violette. It's nice and purple. It's got like those nice hints of raspberry and that's nice floral hints of creme de violette. So
I've never had that before. Creme de violette.
It makes a really good like snazzy martini if you ever want to impress your friends and seem like you're also like a fairy bitch,
And extra, just a little bit extra.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's me.
Not because I am calm, but because I need calm. Chamomile tea is probably what I would pick.
Yeah.
Not calm by any means, but probably need an IV of it.
So no, you need an IV of chamomile tea while you take a bath of chamomile, like while you're just laying in a tub full of chamomile and hot water. Definitely. I think we all need
just
that.
Ophelia myself.
But before you do, can we do like the famous painting of Ophelia of you in the bathtub with the IV of chamomile?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
What happens to my body after I'm gone does not matter to me.
We'll put a fig leaf over your junk, like
yeah.
It'll be real tasteful.
Real tasteful.
Can I just say I Need Calm needs to be the name of your next single.
I would say that's too on the nose, but honestly, like it could be I Need Calm, but it could be like a punk rock song. That would be like
I love that song, by the way. Okay, so it's slowly clicking who was from the chat versus whose episodes were which. And I was like, oh wait, music, yes. I love that. Good job. Anyway, kudos to you. So proud of you. Good job for that work.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
It's hard to write music. It's hard to write music.
It sure the fuck is.
Okay, give me just a second. Y'all
Oh, oh.
Bye.
You went to
Hold
get
on,
that
hold
nut.
The chat.
Now that Zane's gone, I would be a Thai tea because I seem complicated, but really I'm just filled with cream.
You would be a what tea?
A Thai tea?
Oh my god.
okay,
Oh my
okay,
god.
okay.
I heard
I heard
Pisces, and I
high
was like,
Yeah, I heard high tea and I was like, huh?
High tea? No, Thai tea.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
wait, I hear it clicking. I hear it clicking. Is that
Are you
speak again, Ryan?
is your microphone
Me?
rubbing
Is
against
it
your facial
clicking?
hair? Okay.
Maybe?
It sounds like the predator click.
oh no.
Slender Man is near.
Some say I am a predator.
It might just be. Am I
But
the
yeah,
only one hearing it?
No, I hear it too.
Is it still clicking?
Okay, all right.
No, it's not clicking. Okay, yeah. Hold.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like,
I'll do
sometimes whenever
this.
I wear mine, it's just like
I should have worn my telehealth one.
But
my God.
since we were on the topic of Alex's music, I do have the physical album.
Involuntary
Yay.
Engine available for streaming everywhere right now. And this is going on YouTube, everybody. So I hope that y'all were all prepared to be seen.
My arm is like covering my camera half the time whenever I unmute myself. It's just like,
Great armpit shots for those.
I'll have to
people.
charge extra.
yeah, right.
for the only friends, as they say on the TikTok. Cool. Also, I love a good Thai iced tea, Ryan. I really do.
They're so good.
They're so good. Ooh,
I
you know,
think
I almost got that boba today.
ooh.
Oh shit! I should have been boba tea.
That's
That
what
would've
I
been-
was thinking. I was like, I should have been a taro. I should have been a taro tea.
Just filled with balls.
Yeah, filled to the brim with balls. Okay.
Ryan today had balls and coffee jelly. It was really good.
Bless. Now, why did you want to be Thai tea again, Ryan?
Because it seems complicated, but really it's just filled with cream.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to hear it again.
I was gonna say you knew you heard it the first time.
I was because you gave the explanation and we'll go back in the record. I was like, high tea filled with cream. Oh, Thai tea. Yes.
Nothing better than being high and filled with cream. I tell you what. All right.
Amen. Some of us are just staying quiet for reasons.
Are you?
That was weird. That was really weird. That was really weird.
It's no, it's not. There's nothing weird out here.
Well, in your
Well,
neck of
just
the
drink.
woods.
Not in my neck of the woods. Look,
Yeah, I was gonna say, speak for yourself.
I looked. I
I'm
was
right here.
I was driving home the other day and I saw, like, as I was pulling up in my driveway, there was literally like a buck with a big like neon pink like collar, and I was like, am I hallucinating right now? Like, what is going on? And I told my parents and they were like, oh no, like that's the state. They mark the deer that way. And I'm like, oh, all right, cool. It would be in my neck of the woods too, because it's pink. Nice and pussy pink. So what is everybody listening to these days? Of course, we all know like 30 is out. We have all listened. But like Sai shook his head. That's fine. That's fine. But like what are we all listening to these days? I know for me, I don't know. I've just been like adding like different songs here and there. Mitski's new album, really have enjoyed the first two singles. There's this really great song from an artist called Magdalena Bay called You Lose that I really enjoy. Take Care by Sasami. Really good stuff. Oh, and of course, how can I not mention Voyage by ABBA? Finally, after 40 years, ABBA came out with new music. It's still bopping. They may be old, but they still got it. Okay, they still got it. How about everybody else?
I've just been listening to a lot of older stuff, like in the late 70s kind of stuff, just 70s rock, really. That's what I've been jamming to pretty much most of the pandemic, probably a little before the pandemic, but That's where I've been floating. Last, like 2020 was definitely a David Bowie year for me. And it kind of got into like the dark, like what's that album with Golden Years on? It kind of got a little dark there towards the winter of last year.
Station to Station.
Station to Station, yes. One of his best albums, of course. But
Yes.
I was kind of like researching what he was going through at that time, and like I was kind of putting myself in that same mind space, unfortunately, you know. So I was just like, we need to get out of that. So we're now a little more up tempo with some other stuff. I haven't listened to the ABBA album yet. Sorry. Thank you.
Can y'all hear me better now?
Yes, yes.
I'm gonna say, why am I always producing these awkward silences out of everything?
Because you're condemned.
Apparently.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's why I should just like let Jacob continue to speak for me.
I haven't listened to it either. Don't feel bad. I haven't listened to
I
it
don't
yet
think
either.
I don't think anybody else here has actually listened to Voyage except for me. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm the only one that's expected to have listened to Voyage. Am I right?
It is your brand.
That is my
Yeah,
brand.
if you would have not have listened to it at this point, I would have been worried. I'd have been a little concerned for you. Been like, what's going on with
very, very on your alley.
It's on my alley.
you? Me and my boyfriend are going through season 7 of Drag Race right now. I'm taking him through it.
I have been listening to a lot of lo-fi jazz stations. I put it on while I clean or while I'm like painting and stuff like that. Also, one of my favorite artists, Neo, just came out with a new album, and it is delightful and beautiful. Everything she does is delightful and beautiful because I love her. And then my typical shit, listening to a lot of Alan Stone. I've been listening to Tiger Night a lot more recently, even though they haven't come out with music for like 5 years. But I've been listening to some of their older stuff. And I gave Nick Cave a try, and it just was not for me. It really just wasn't for me. And then my husband listens to a lot of Ash Nico and Doja Cat, so I hear a lot of that day in, day out. Which I'm here for it. I love both of them. So that's what I've been listening to.
I have
Listen to
found
Doja Cat. Sorry.
oh, you're good. I have found a beautiful new genre called chiptune and bit punk.
Ooh.
And I have just been like just immersing myself in chiptune and bit punk. It's so great. And then I found a band, I Fight Dragons. Have y'all heard of them before?
The name sounds familiar.
The name sounds familiar.
I hyper focused on them for a full week, and then the Sunday of that week they were in Phoenix, so the very next day I got to see them live. I was like, I hate this timeline, but I love this timeline. So that's what I've been listening to.
Snaps. That's not hyper focusing, that's hyper manifesting.
I love it.
There you go.
I wish that I could be hyper manifesting instead of hyper focusing. Dylan, share your secrets.
Satan.
Well, guys, hold on a second. Let me get my lipstick out. I'm gonna put a pentagram on my forehead. No, I'm just kidding. All right. See, Cameron, you're not the only one that has awkward pauses.
I was gonna say,
we could come up with like a visual cue, like, oh, I'm about to talk. You know, like, isn't there that raise hand button? I can never find that button.
I was definitely gonna text Jacob later and be like, please cut all that awkward silence out. But now I'm like, ooh, no, just let it. Just let it.
Very queer, if you will. I've been listening to Churches nonstop.
Ooh.
Got to see them live 2 weeks ago in Dallas. Lost my shit. They just were so good live. I was so happy. It was such a great trip. Oh my gosh. Their tickets were $35 because Churches is still not famous. So anyone listening to this, if you don't know who I am talking about, it's Churches with a V.
Okay. So Sai, If I've always, so the song Lies by Churches,
Yes!
that is the one song I want to do a drag number to. I just don't have the means, but I really would love to do a drag number to Lies by Churches because that song is a fucking bop.
It is. It is. Their whole latest album is called Screen Violence, and it is based off of horror movies. So it's like a whole concept album. So like they have like my favorite song on it is called Final Girl, and I'll just be playing that shit all the time. I've loved it. Anywho, I've been living my best life. Yes, Churches. Yes, Churches.
Yes,
and they were
Churches.
Yes, Churches is the only church I go to now.
Well, that and I do enjoy a Church's chicken every now and then. But
I was
Cameron,
definitely thinking Church's chicken the entire time. And up until we started talking about the music, I was like, oh, okay, oh yeah.
I
me
drove
check them
all the
out.
way. So I drove all the way to Dallas to eat some Church's chicken, and it was a religious experience for Cy. That is
Mhm.
exactly what he was just talking
Yes.
about. Yeah.
Why would
Hey,
I?
you'll join
I
him
go to
next time.
Texas. We are too Southern to say I'm going to Texas for fried chicken.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
I'm in Louisiana. I will claim that.
There you
first.
go.
I will go to my gas station before I go to Texas for fried chicken. Anywho,
Cameron, just to let you know, since you've been in like a mid to late 70s mood, definitely check out Daddy's Home by St. Vincent because that album is literally just like 70s. It's literally just the 70s, but now it's so good. If that's what you're feeling.
Heard that. Yeah, I remember listening to one of these sweet teas. You mentioned St. Vincent. I've checked them out a little bit. I'll have to check them out a little more. Yeah.
but are we talking about 70s rock, 70s pop, 70s R&B? Like what part of the 70s you talking?
No, go ahead, Jacob. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Daddy's Home specifically is like a little bit of like 70s soft rock, a little bit of 70s R&B, a little bit of 70s funk here and there and soul, but it's got
Because that's what she said she wanted to like get back to, right?
yeah, she was just like these were the albums that like I grew up listening to, and I just really wanted to like do something that was like kind of like that, except also I wanted to announce the return to society of my white collar criminal father who just got out of jail. So, you know, there you go.
Nice.
Alex, what about you?
Yeah, Alex.
Pretty much all I've been listening to lately is not like 70s older stuff, but like in the last like 20 years older stuff. A lot of Sarah Bareilles earlier music, and throwing back to Florence, her older stuff, and sticking with Banks because Banks just really is speaking to me right now. So a lot of Banks.
Isn't Banks a Gemini?
She sure is.
Don't start. Don't start.
Don't get me started. I think I know everyone, except maybe Ryan. I know everyone's sign here.
And I'll keep you guessing.
See, that's where I missed the Pootie clicks from the I missed the older Mike because that would have just been anywho. But also I feel you on the Sarah Bareilles thing because actually I'm working with my friend on a cover for Winter Song with her and Ingrid Michaelson.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
So yes, come through. We're in that same headspace.
Just a lot more chill stuff right now. So
Fair. Come through, sad girl.
Yes, Sad Girl Christmas. That's everyone in 2021 is Sad Girl Christmas, literally. You recently sent me a song called Say Something from Kylie. Literally,
yeah, Kylie's disco album.
a whole fucking bop. I had never listened to it before, and Alex just sent it to me, and I listened, and I was like, holy shit, like this is everything I need right now. So good.
And that was the extended cut because she just re-released it with extended versions of a lot of the songs. And she's got a version where they have a house gospel choir accompanying her, and it's fantastic.
Kylie has not disappointed for a decade. I'm sorry. Like, your girl be late to everything, but you know what? Like, whoever did it first, okay, she's like, I'm clearly copying them. But they don't like my songs because they're just as good. Disco was a bop, and I was so happy for her. Because she even did her whole like country music album because Gaga did her album. And like, and both were good. Like I don't listen to that, and neither does Kylie because that was the least country album I have ever heard in my life.
That was country pop disco.
It was like I just like dancing was like the closest thing to a country number. I don't know. Anywho, I love Kylie Minogue so much. I just have to, yeah, I'm done.
Also, one last note: if anybody hasn't listened to the album "All Mirrors" by Angel Olsen, give it a listen. Angel Olsen is really fucking talented. That's all. That's all. Um, so okay, here's like a deep question. What's something that you feel like you really want to tell the world right now?
Depends on how deep you want to go. Because if we want to go deep, I'm going to need a minute. Mm.
That's totally fine. I can edit out silences. I can even keep in the silence because, you know, that's the reality of the situation. What does everybody want to tell the world right now?
Okay, I'll go first. Whatever the fuck you've been wanting to do, just do it because nothing matters. Just fucking go for it. You want to move across the world? Do it. You want to take a fist? Do it. You want to fucking write a song? Do it because nothing matters. This last year has shown us that like nothing matters. We're living in a simulation. So like just do what you want and we'll just be miserable together.
Do as thou wilt. As
You take that fist, honey. You take
that fist.
I would like
exactly.
I would let me think. I think, I'm trying to figure out how to legally say this, but I would not be upset if anyone listening to this in the world with the skill set, with the time, with the resources, with the money, if they could just take out one hit on Kyle Shittenhouse, I would not be upset. But I'm not suggesting it. I'm not posing it because that's illegal. But whoever may out there, if you ever needed that permission, I give you permission.
So I saw a meme recently that like resonates with me very much about that whole situation. It's the Spider-Man meme. And it shows Kyle Rittenhouse, being, marked innocent of all charges. And it's Willem Dafoe from Spider-Man. And he's marked as, all leftists on the street. And he comes up and he says, "Oh, I'm somewhat of a vigilante myself." That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If Kyle Rittenhouse can be a vigilante, so can you. So can you. That's all I'm saying. Wink. Wink, wink. Also, really quick, I'm sorry, Sai, now you've like opened this up. I recently watched a video because guess who jumped on the opportunity to talk to Kyle Rittenhouse right after, literally like the day after he was declared innocent? Oh yeah, Fox News's own shit stain, Tucker Carlson. And to hear Kyle Rittenhouse like just talk about like how he just felt like, oh, he was definitely in danger the whole time. Oh, but he only came there to like, protect people's private property. And he only came there to just like help the community because he felt so bad seeing his community up in flames. It's like, I feel no pity for whatever happens to this man. But unfortunately, I just feel like he's just gonna end up at CPAC for the rest of his life, giving speeches to conservatives, and giving sweeping speeches to like all sorts of people in conservative crowds. And he's not going to learn anything. He's going to actually make a whole lot of fucking money off of murdering people. And he's going to be just like the guy that killed Trayvon Martin. And he's going to, he's going to be a vigilante that gets away with his form of vigilanteism. But he's untouchable for everybody else. So I don't know. Period.
Yes.
I'm still trying to collect my answer, to be honest. So
on a very on a happier note, though, the cops that killed Elijah McClain were convicted for murder. So that was actually really good news because they deserve that and more. I believe,
And
honestly, it may be the truly talking, but I honestly believe they deserve the death penalty. So, anyway.
and the cops that killed Ahmaud Arbery.
Not even cops. Just some
Oh yeah, they were
just
people
some
walking
fat
around.
ass fucking good old boys. Just some fat ass fucking good old boys with guns.
And I'll be honest, I don't think they deserve the death penalty. I think they deserve exactly what they're gonna get in prison, which is just
That part.
miserable.
That part.
Don't put them out of their misery.
That part.
Honestly, that part.
Satan says just let them fucking rot.
Honestly, you know what? That part. Yeah, that part.
No, death is too sweet a sentence. Clink.
I would really like to tell the world right now that, like, I think we're all going through it. I think that, like, we really thought that 2020 was like the worst fucking year ever, and then 2021 came around and we were like, oh fuck, like it's still not any better. And it's totally okay to be disillusioned, and it's totally okay to feel the way that you feel. But don't let yourself become so entrenched in your own misery, because honestly it's a burden that we as the world all have to carry now. And we really and truly are all in this together. And if we proceed with love and help and support for each other, maybe we can make 2022 or 2023 or however long it takes to make everything better again. I think that we can do it if we all just pull together.
agreed, Jacob. Agreed.
Change my mood like I agree as well.
Yes.
If
Go
go ahead. No, please go ahead.
I was just gonna say I haven't really formed like a full opinion, other than I don't think there's anything that you're incapable from coming back from. I think that there's always time to like move forward, and there's always the ability to move forward if you want it badly enough. And so I think that's probably what I've been focusing on a lot lately. And that's something that anybody can tell you, but you have to believe. You have to actively like believe it.
Yes, bitch, like your 30s. I've been going through that same emotion because I can make it back from these 30s. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I'm going to be a little greedy here and also say that, like, if you're a millennial or Zoomer or, any younger generation, we have, like, there are more of us than the old folks that run everything. So, like, just wait. Like, we're going to take shit back. We're going to get everything. And when we do, let's not hold back. Let's not be gentle, because they were not gentle with us. The ruling class, the ruling generation was never gentle with us. So, if they have to pay more taxes, let them pay more taxes. If they have to get used to having a fucking a solar powered generator on their roof, let them fucking get used to it, because you know what? We know what it takes to actually change things for the better, and we're gonna fucking do it one way or the other. And if we have to seize that power, let's seize it. Come on. I'm ready. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready.
Right. I would also encourage any generations after us to just set shit on fire and then get results. I'm not encouraging any kind of property damage whatsoever. I'm just saying set it on fire. Just set it on fire
Burn it down, start over.
There you go. And then just let God sort it out.
Hi, but property damage never got us any sort of momentous change in society.
No, never.
Nope. No brick was ever thrown that meant anything.
No. Shit in those Amazon bags, y'all. Shit in those Amazon
Get in the
bags.
Amazon bag. Honestly,
Save the
I
shit.
really am gonna apply for that position. I found my calling.
And please, because I like towards the end, like I was writing "help us" on the boxes. I don't know, but somebody got those boxes and just did not want to look at it. But I big old black marker, help us.
They said this sign doesn't affect me because I can't read.
Right. Right. Oh, I sure did right. I wrote that. Anyway, I did it. If Amazon's on, I did it.
Hey, Zalt, if you're listening, it was Psy. They're not sorry. No, probably what I would say to the world as a whole is kind of a hybridized like version of what Alex and Brian said, was that it really just do whatever is going to make you happy and do whatever you want to, because everything sucks right now, and at the end of all of it, you're gonna be okay. And I've been saying this a lot here recently, but like, you're gonna be okay. It doesn't seem like it right now, and it probably won't seem like it at first. But things never get better, you do. And so you get better, you get stronger, and you're gonna be okay.
So I think, oh, Cameron, go ahead, baby.
I was gonna say, yes, I agree with everything everyone else has said. I've just taken the time because honestly, mine's gonna sound a little more selfish to me as an individual rather than everyone else showering positivity or nihilism to the audience. I don't have much to say to the quote world right now because frankly, I'm trying to figure out what to tell myself. Do you know what I mean? It's like, while I have my opinions that firmly agree with everything everyone else is saying, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get some peace and quiet in my own head these days, you know what I mean? And not, it's been dark, not as dark as it's been in the past, obviously, but like, I've just kind of been like, my spirit has just been down, so I don't want to talk to the world anymore, you know what I mean? Like, I left one religion, as we have talked about on this podcast before, and then like I feel like everyone else's version of their own religion, whether they realize it's their religion or not, is like trying to put it on me. Like, that's the internet, that's the people around me. And I'm just like, can I just think for myself for a minute? So that was my initial answer when you asked what do we want to tell the world, because I don't really want to talk to the world right now. I'm kind of tired of listening to the world. But yes, to the positivity everyone else is saying, like, we'll get through this for sure. And that's something I've learned in the last couple of years, is how to, unfortunately, not talk to myself positively before things get dark, but once I acknowledge that things are dark in my own head and in the world, obviously, like, to move forward after that point, like everyone else is saying. So sorry world, I don't have too much to tell you right now, but listen to what else everyone else has to say for sure.
So Cameron, really quick, while I have you here, you and I have discussed how, the first episode that you ever premiered on was queerness and Christianity coexisting. And
Yes.
since then, you have kind of grown out of that. You feel like you kind of come to different conclusions in your life and your beliefs and your worldview. Would you like to talk just like a quick second about that?
Sure, if everyone's willing to listen. I mean, not to preach any sort of anything, but yeah, like, I actually just listened to our first episode maybe 2 days ago, just to kind of hear who that Cameron was, 2019, 2020, just coming out of the closet to my parents, and like we kind of briefly talked about, just coming out to like the church. It's been a journey, like, in my own head, like, people like to come across, oh, well, I listened, and now you can go to this church, since you've come out, now you can go to this church. I'm like, I'm really just tired of listening to I really just want to figure out what my own thoughts are. because I've been so not naive to, but like Christianity is my foundation as a spiritual person, you know what I mean? And like there are times I go to like the hippie kind of thought process of like me and Jesus would have done shrooms together, you know what I mean? But like as far as like I feel like my foundation is kind of like gone as far as like what to do now. I kind of just like I'm not necessarily interested in subscribing to any religion because I find value in everyone's religion, even if they don't even see it as a religion, if you know what I mean. But like there is no, to me, my opinion is there is no right answer. And kind of how we were just talking about, like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's kind of where I've gotten as far as like religion and spiritualism. Like, there's no right answer, even to spirituality. Like, there's no one correct path, or maybe even incorrect path. You know what I mean? And that has kind of just like broken my spirit in a bit. But like everyone is saying, like, you got to move forward at some point, and I'm kind of just like I'm almost ready to just move forward and just go about things. But yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, I don't know what to tell the world right now, because I've been listening to the world tell me what was right for like the last almost 30 years of my life. So I'm like, I really just and the fact that I haven't figured out what my own voice is in my own head, that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I just need to tune out, you know what I mean? But not tune out for myself. See, we're getting deep here. Yeah. Sips
Okay.
water.
Yes, sips water, sips tea,
Sips
sips. I
water.
had to hurry and get this wine
It's
because
the
that's the
truly, come
Cheers,
on.
everybody get a drink. We need to cheers. That was heavy. Yeah,
Cheers. Cheers.
Woo.
Honestly, Cameron, that just kind of opens up the door for me to say before I ask my next question. My last thing, which you're going to hear me say all throughout this season, is find a way to get therapy. Literally, like if you have the ability, if you have the resources, go straight to Psychology Today, search all of your criteria. If you're dirt poor like me and so many out there, search that as one of your criteria and find somebody to talk to. Because honestly, like, even though I have my high highs and my low lows, like I feel like I am a little stronger and a little bit more to put everything together and make more sense of everything and handle everything a little bit better because I have a dedicated therapist that I talk to every week.
Yes,
So yeah.
I will come out and say yes, I support therapy. Yes. Can I say, and this may sound controversial and it's really not meant to, I am skeptical. Like every time the last several episodes you have talked thoroughly about therapy. I absolutely agree. For everyone else, myself, and I will say this, I have become skeptical. And this is what I mean. Like, I don't want to talk to the world because literally, like, therapy is starting to be like pushed on me. And I feel like I can't trust anyone else's opinions. Like, all it took was a TikTok of a real life therapist being like, sometimes we check out. And that alone, like literally just a TikTok of saying a therapist checks out, I was like, well, I don't want to trust another human being, because if they literally can't figure it out for me, and that sounds like I'm against therapy. I'm absolutely not. Like, please go to therapy. You know what I mean? I have not subscribed to therapy yet for myself, just because I have a problem trusting people, including therapists.
That's what you would call the trauma brain. You have trauma.
Seriously. Yeah.
You have complex trauma. It has compounded. And now whenever you have stimuli like a therapist saying that sometimes we check out, it makes you anxious to even try the avenue of therapy. Ryan, Dylan, you look like you have something to say.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I can't speak on that, but I mean, I will say that all us therapists are people and we struggle with all the same things. If not, you have to question the motive of people who get into a field that's dedicated to be hearing the darkest parts of people's psyche.
Sure. Yeah.
And also, I completely get that. like just the idea of people not being ready. Like sometimes it's hard. And I also had the thought when you were sharing, Jacob, when you were telling people to like get on Psychology Today, that one trick I tell people is if you don't have the means to pay for therapy, look for a university around you that has some sort of training program, and they will typically have a discounted clinic that the students work in, where they're supervised by licensed people, and offer like services at a discounted rate. So that is also a really solid option. Um, but yeah, and also, not all TikTok therapists should be trusted.
No, absolutely. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean by like the internet. Like, I'm tired of listening to, so many different noises. Absolutely. Like, please, those out there, please go to therapy. Please don't listen to me being a skeptical almost 30-year-old being like, I don't trust anybody. Please go to therapy.
Claim it, you're 30. Claim it now. Claim it.
Right. And skepticism
It feels like
skepticism
it's
should
right
be
around the corner.
encouraged.
Yeah.
Skepticism, like a lack of skepticism gets us to fucking January. Like that's what happens when we're not
Yeah.
skeptical of anything and we just take everything for granted or like just like as truth. And so like, I mean, I was taught to be skeptical of all the science I see. And so when I see solid science, I'm like, well, yeah, but who did they pay for that? Like I'm questioning everything. And so it's healthy to question things.
And see, and just on, because me and Cameron both been talked about our religious backgrounds, and it's like the exact opposite, and how we're raised, because we're taught to trust everything, not to question, specifically not to question. Like, because questioning is just another form of you not being a good believer, and you're about to go to hell for that. Because what, kind of sadly, what does a good cult do but say no to questions, right? And then it just makes this noise that, and I totally get where you are right now, because it's like, okay, wait, I just need y'all to shut the up, because like, and then you cry because
Exactly. Yes.
you just don't even know that you cry. Yeah, I hear it. I feel you, babe. I am so sorry that you are going through it right now, but it is worth it. The trick for me was realizing that it was right for Eve to eat the apple.
Sip the wine.
Cameron, it also helps my trauma anxiety brain to know that my therapist specifically, she's a lesbian power lifter, and she's very attentive.
Yeah.
So if I ever like passed out from having a panic attack during one of our more traumatic sessions, she could pick me up and carry me to the hospital. So,
that is very encouraging. That is very encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So,
yes, she lifts you up literally. Like,
yes.
Lift me up.
You raise me up.
Yes. We also sang Negro Spirituals at the Bezos plantation.
And in my defense, if you find a really dramatic queer guy, you know that I will burn down a building thinking that you're dying if you pass out in a session. So like either way, you'll get help.
So that leads me right into the next question, which is, how's your mental health?
Next.
I'll just start, since we're like, it's better. I will say this: it is much better than it has been in the last. I think long term, right, with my mental health, it's better this year than it was last year. Which surprisingly, the pandemic, like 2020, like was a better mental health year than 2019. So maybe I'm just, I think I'm on the upside of the hill, or the downside. I'm over the hump, I'm just I still just want quiet for my own sake. That's about it. I mean, I am blessed as far as a job. I've worked for my father for 10 plus years. So I'm blessed with a job that pays fairly well. you know, other than that, I'm just trying to get myself together. You know, like everyone says, like moving yourself forward. There's many things like we've all talked about. Like there's artistic endeavors that I want to get myself to a place where I'm a cheerleader for myself. You know what I mean? For my own artwork. Right now, I'm still scared in a lot of ways to take the leap in a lot of ways. Some projects we've taken the leap, but other ones that are, you know, a little more life changing potentially are harder to take the leap on. And this entire time, I've just seen Sai just shaking his head. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yes,
But
yes.
my mental health,
Yes, because
yes.
it's true. Yes, it is. It's true. I'm nodding. Yes, listeners,
Yeah.
I'm nodding a lot. Continue.
But yeah, my mental health is better these days than it has been in the recent past. Yeah, I've gotten to that step where I'm very aware of when I have bad mental days, and we're now like trying to figure out how to cope in better ways than others, you know. So
That part.
Yeah.
Listen, snaps to that child. Yes, because coming out to yourself, America, is a process that never stops, and gays just get to it first. Where you have to come out to yourself that I am not this thing. I am not that thing. This is not working for me. This is working for me. Why is that working for me? This should not work for me. Like, coming out never stops. So yes, Cameron, I am nodding the thumb because it starts this whole big old ass domino effect in your life. But like, action is better than stagnancy. I'm so proud of you. Yes, just needed to encourage.
I appreciate it, bud. Thank you.
Snaps for the children.
Snaps.
Also, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Jacob. Okay.
Mentally, I've been better. I am medicated now, so you know that's a better place to be in, I guess. Still working on finding a whole therapist thing. Just like mental state wise versus like mental health. Mental state, I've been better. Mental health, I am better than I have been. So I'll take it. So
I'm right there with you. Like mental health, I am better. Currently, like lately, like mental state, it's been like, okay, like we're on the downswing a little bit. Like we'll get right back up because like I've been here before, like just in the past couple of months, I've been here before and I turned out fine. Once again, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, like I got my therapist to talk to. I've got my good friends that I can talk to. And honestly, like, real note to everybody out there, there was a point there in the summer where I was pretty fucking agoraphobic. Like, I was afraid to, like, not necessarily afraid to leave my house, but I was very uncomfortable leaving my house. And if I went to work, I'd get comfortable going to work. And then in the period between going to work and coming home or going home and coming to work, I would just feel super anxious the whole time because I'd be like, I just don't feel good right now. Like I'm stuck here with my thoughts. Like I'm all alone with them. Like I have nothing to distract me. And that was pretty fucking bad. Like, you know, in TV and movies, we see agoraphobia as someone who's like afraid of the sunlight or afraid to just like step out onto their lawn or whatever. But it's not that. It's not that. It is dangerous to go alone. You're right. Like, it's not that. It's more so just like the safety and comfort that you feel mentally and the mental ease of being in your safe space and having to leave your safe space. Um, but lately I've been going out more. I've been socializing again because I am a social creature. Like, as you know, I have this whole podcast and everything. Like, I am a very social creature. And it's been good going out and experiencing life with people again. um so yeah, that's where I'm at. Still got work ahead, but like the thing is, like, you know, and listen to this, you know, if you feel like you still have work ahead, like you're capable. That's all there is to it. You're capable. Aru indeed, Shadow. Aru indeed.
Can I pivot off? I mean, not pivot, but can I add on to what you said, Jacob, like I totally empathize with the idea of looking at past trauma in a better light, because like you said, I do acknowledge that I have been in this place before and I have gotten through it, and sometimes just that is just enough to tip the scale, you know, in the right direction a lot of the ways. So I can definitely empathize with that. And there was something else, but I forgot. Sorry. So yeah.
Was it about the agoraphobia? Because I was going to talk about the agoraphobia.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Yes. When I was your age, back in 2019, like exactly how you said, it was the drives home or to and from places. My anxiety would just go through the roof with just like existential crisis. You know what I mean? So I can totally relate. But yeah, like I really want to emphasize, it is for me at least, it's always that I've been through this before. I've been through much worse than this before, and I have survived, whether that is by my own will and manifestations or spirituality or something above, you know, like I've gotten through every dark moment in my life one way or another. And sometimes that is all you need, you know, to kind of get yourself in the right direction. So I feel you, man. I've been there, especially with like getting really anxious on drives home. Like it's weird. Yeah.
So if quantum physics is correct, time is not a line, it's a circle. So we've already gone through the worst times. We've already experienced our whole lifetimes. So we have technically experienced worse than what we're going through now.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
He's right.
Sure.
Amy Adams said that too in Arrival. Yes. Yes, that was such a good movie. Yes, say it again.
I can't. I have ADHD. I don't know what I just said.
Time is a spoopy circle. Anyway.
Thank you, Denis Villeneuve. Thank you, Denis Villeneuve, for gracing us with all of that. Yes.
He should have been nearby. Is he not? Because I feel like anywho but Zane, though. What about you?
Yeah, both mental health wise and mental state wise, I'm in a pretty shitty place. As a lot of the listeners know, I like lost my mom a couple of months ago to COVID, and that's been an entire struggle. Not her death itself, but just everything surrounding that. Like just the like, where do we go from here? Like, and then it was a huge like financial burden on me and my husband to have to go and like collect my family each like round that she would get sicker and sicker, and then when she finally passed and everything like that. And it's kind of like swept the entire rug out from under my feet, whereas previously like I thought of myself as very like mentally stable and like having been through, you know, like a lot of like mental illness and drug addiction and just a bunch of other shit in my life. I was like, I can cope fine. And then this whole thing has just swept the rug out from under my feet. And after a lot of pressuring and encouragement from both my husband and my boyfriend Alex, I went to go get medicated. And after a horribly triggering experience with that whole situation of once again being like asking for like help and being told that I'm not depressed and I'm not anxious and I'm not suicidal. I just need to lose some weight and sleep better. It's been like really hard to want to keep going and like want to keep trying. But I guess more out of spite, just keeping going, honestly. If nothing else, it's completely out of spite.
Snaps for the spite. Snaps for the spite.
Yeah, right.
Yes, snaps for the spite. Yes.
Why do I feel like this is a room full of people that are just staying alive to spite somebody?
No,
Because you're right.
Literally. Literally.
What is being queer for 500?
exactly.
Like, Look, and like I listened to half that episode, and then I had to take a break with the mom bit because I was like, "Ooh, this got deep." I was like, but I heard it, bitch, because I'm just like, I know you got something. Like, how's you doing? Because I was like, I'm gonna find out how this person. Again, like as I'm like listening to all of this, I'm like, oh, you're this person. Oh yeah, I only got through 30 minutes. I got through 30 minutes, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to some Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back there real quick, and then I'm gonna get out. Right? Like, what are you doing to cope? I just needed to know.
Honestly, it's been a lot of distracting myself.
Mhm.
I've been getting back into my art and like trying to do things that are cathartic, the things that I enjoy, like cooking, trying to get back into like my spiritual practice, like reading tarot and like stuff like that. And really just kind of like leaning on my friends for the support that I can't get elsewhere, honestly.
That
And
part.
that's been it's been such a blessing to like have people who will listen objectively and not just tell me like, oh no, like you're the victim, you're the good guy. Like I
Mhm.
genuinely have like I'm surrounded by a group of people who will, if I'm on some shit, they're gonna be like, no, you're being stupid. Like, get it together. Good guy, girl, get a grip. Like they will really keep me in line.
It gets
Mm.
really annoying when people want to tell us our role in our own story.
Woo!
It's like we've literally been cast in every part at some point in our own story. Like that's not what
Yeah.
we're looking for. But anyway,
Bitch,
that's my
hold on.
2
I gotta
cents.
write that down. That's a therapy quote. Thank you.
Oh
Stealing
my.
it.
See,
Let
look at
it
me.
All my
out.
clients tomorrow are gonna.
Yes, copy it down, Shadow. Copy it down. Let
And
them
that's a lot
know.
of and that's a lot of like the mental work that I've been doing in like the spiritual realm that I subscribe to. We call it shadow work. And it's a lot of like thinking about like, what is the role that you've cast yourself in versus the role that other people are casting you in your life, and like how do those two things, how do they align? How are they separate? And like going back to what you were saying earlier, Cameron, about like kind of shutting everything out, shutting out the noise, is like one of the biggest things that I've kind of like learned throughout, particularly throughout like the pandemic and everything like that is, and it's kind of what brought about like this nihilistic view that I have. But it's just like everything in your life is gonna be shit at some point. So it's like take care of you and like fuck what anybody else is saying. Even some of the people who are like closest to you and like your closest loved ones, fuck what they're saying. Like you got to do what's best for you. Take care
For
of you, and
sure.
then you
Yeah.
can take care of everyone else.
Yeah. For sure.
And there's been a lot of that.
Saying, did I talk about how I got my pup name in my episode?
I
No.
I don't think that you did. I don't think that you did.
That was the pup episode? Wait.
Okay,
did I just spill the tea?
Really quick. Everybody. Okay, so cat's out of the bag. It's been 2 seasons.
Well, dog's out of the bag.
I was gonna say dog's out of the bag. So Dylan/Ryan has been on 2 episodes.
Right.
Dylan was my guest on the very first and only so far Out in the Woods After Dark. And
Yes.
they were also in the episode what is it called? Yeah, it was the satanic episode. It was Halloween 4, I believe. It was Lucifer and the LGBT. So if y'all want to reacquaint yourselves, listeners, please go back and listen to those episodes to know why I have invited this rapscallion to be in this sweet tea episode. I think I have a panel. I think I have a panel of voices right now that are wide ranging and from very different walks of life, I guess. And I think that it would have been a really huge disservice. I was gonna say, no, it's okay. It's okay. I think that it would have just been a really huge disservice not to include someone like Dylan, Shadow, Ryan, whichever persona we're imbibing the listeners with today. So
Who knows?
yeah.
Anyway, so shadow is actually from shadow work, both the magic and the Jungian idea of coming to terms with the parts of you that you hate and you want to reject and that you keep on the back burner. And so shadow represented the parts of me that I was not ready to accept, the kinky, the dirty, and things like that. So,
And
yeah,
also, purple
so
looks really great on you. So,
I mean, purple and blue. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but that made me think, and it was very weird because as soon as you said that, I got like an all caps text of just shadow from one of my friends, and I was like, what? I actually thought it was Jacob at first. um, mental wellness, that's what I call it because it's a spectrum. So did I talk about this on my second episode? I moved all the way from Mississippi to Phoenix with my husband. And then we've just like hunkered down and just now starting to get out more. So it's been a whole thing. We've gone from being mono to being open to being poly to now being mono again. So it's been a whole journey. But currently I am just struggling with being employed because I'm fresh out of school. So for anybody who's in grad school, just remember that at the end of grad school, you have to go to work. Because I totally forgot that part. So yeah, but now I have a gender neutral title, which is also really great because I'm not triggered constantly with Mr. all day. So that's nice.
The fucking dream.
I know.
well,
I know.
also, your university that you came from actually did a little op-ed on you, or not an op-ed, but they did a little bit of a press release about you, or they used you for advertisement for the university.
Oh
And
yes, the
they
Louisiana one.
yeah, and they use they them pronouns for you. I remember
Which I
seeing
wrote that.
So we're
So
gonna
many
take that
people
back.
reached out. So many people reached out and were like, "Oh my god, they like respected your pronouns," and I was like, "Yeah, they did because I wrote it."
Yeah, you respected your pronouns.
Right, right, exactly. But it was nice and it was cute. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. Me and my husband are just now getting out and about in Phoenix and kind of figuring who we are because I mean we're products of the pandemic. We got together right at the beginning and then quarantined together and then moved here together. So we're just now figuring out how we experience the world, which is why my recommendation for the world was like, fuck everything because nothing really matters. And that's the
So
difference between nihilism and existentialism.
I was
Next.
gonna say, so to piggyback off of that, to kind of fuse together that idea and what Cameron and what Zane were saying. My therapist told me because even though I have a theater degree, because of my anxiety now, whenever I have to do like public events and everything, I like have to like really psych myself up because holy shit, do I just get the worst panic, like the worst thoughts ever that are like, you're gonna have a panic attack and you're gonna ruin fucking everything. And like that's like that like literally like burdens my mind. But something my therapist told me that actually like made me take a step back, and this is what I think every time I get into that negative headspace, is like, you're worried about the future, but look at the future not in terms of something that you should worry about, but in terms of something that is full of endless possibilities, something that is full of potential, something that is full of your control. It's endless possibilities. It could, there is a possibility that things could go wrong, but there's also a possibility that you could kill it. And thankfully, every time that I've done something that I've been very nervous about, I have killed it. So not a brag, just showing you that, just showing everybody that you can do it. You can fucking overcome it. And maybe, there might have been like a tiny bit of alcohol involved, but you just do what you got to do.
Look,
It's fun. It's
vehicles
funny
need
because
fuel, honey. Look.
yeah, I don't think any of us thought that was a brag.
You know,
No.
look at me climbing through my mental health. Yeah, no one thought that was a brag. That we thought that was a success.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I
But
like it when
also-
my friends brag.
Brag about it.
Brag about it, and then also brag about
Absolutely.
it. Yes, now brag about it because you sold yourself short. You know what I mean? Like,
Ah,
Tell that story again, but I want to hear 3 more. I'm a bad bitch.
yes,
if I do that, Cardi B will appear.
yes, I like that. Yes, 3 more. I'm a bad bitch. Listen to them.
So
That-
yeah. I love you all. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. So
Look, you know, we came out earlier, honey. Most of us in the '90s, and it was a tough time then. But look, you know, it was confusing for everybody with all the grunge, but we made it. We had to make it out. You know, Tevin Candle led the way.
yeah. God. you
Also,
just-
we love you, Jacob. We
Yes,
love you.
do. Yes, we do.
Yes, our friendly Gayborhood host.
Mhm.
Stop it. I'm all
Friendly around you until he drops your name when you're not around.
I was gonna say I'm gonna cash app each of you $20 now for saying that.
Let in the future we'll manifest that we all pay each other to be on each other's shows and shit.
Yes.
You know that we can all do that. We
No.
did it. You know.
Talking about like living for the sake of spite, like once this shit blows up, like really, really blows up, and like I'm like, you know, like Joe Rogan levels of a household name, like I
Andy
just
Williams.
yeah. Alex, please remove yourself. No.
Good night,
You
everyone.
said Joe Rogan though, which is just as bad.
No, Joe Rogan is awful. I'm just saying, like, Joe Rogan is awful, but he has a huge platform. And that's what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to push Joe Rogan out of the podcast sphere, which I probably never will, but like a girl can dream. But the thing is, like, once I become like that big, there are so many people who I already have pre-planned that I'm gonna pretend like I never knew them. So
Oh, girl, that's the same with that Animaniacs little like woodchuck. The woodchuck who's like, I'm gonna write your name in my book. When I become famous, I'm gonna remind myself not to talk to you. That is that
Yes.
woodchuck.
yes,
Yes. I will send you a link to that because that is that woodchuck. Yes,
Yes.
that woodchuck is you. That woodchuck is you. That woodchuck is Southern. Anyway.
Cause baby, I can chuck some wood. Okay,
Hey,
I can chuck some
hey,
wood.
wait a minute. Oh, you got the girthiest personalities to be of all of them.
All right. So now that the tone is a little bit lighter and we've all discussed our mental health, let's
I
move
guess
on.
I could have gone into detail with mine though.
Okay, Sai, let's hold on a second. Let's pump the brakes, do a U-turn. Sai, come on with it. I really want to know because you said you were great, but you know what? That sounds like deflection to me.
Well, it wasn't, bitch. I was about to say that I'm really happy with all the great successes that I've got in my life right now. Okay,
That's for the
bye.
kids. That's for the kids.
I was happy because I was
There's
like,
hope.
look at me coming out from the end of my Saturn return. Like,
1 out of 5
you know,
will
and
have
like,
something positive. Yes.
yes. And
Come
just
on.
like,
Come on, the
yes.
Saturn return. Come on.
Yes, the Saturn return,
That's what
bitch.
I'm saying. Like mine started right before the pandemic. So like I was feeling what the rest of the world was gonna feel like the year
Uh-huh.
before. And I'm just like, okay, it is time to get out of this. Like we've been sitting in this
Mm.
for too long. Anyway, back to you, Sai. Back to you.
No, because that's exactly me. Because we were just talking about how you had to get a car, and I'm like, bitch, that's how I knew my return started.
Yes.
Was my fucking shit dropped in the like Trader Joe's parking lot? Like my
Mhm.
axle just fell out. The guts of my car, for all the gays listening, fell out of my car.
Me, specifically me.
Right? Literally, the
I
intestines
was
of the
about to
car.
Google what an axle was and what it did
Yes.
for a car.
Yes.
In my world, you just shove that shit back in.
Basically, my car had a hernia and it also erupted and the intestines just spilled out. Like my hood was resting on my wheel in the Trader Joe's parking lot. And it took all the other gays literally in that building. I was like, I told like one gay person to help me. I was like, because Trader Joe's is just us. And I was like, help me. And they were like, got it. like did this like Wallace and Gromit style. Ooh, like just waving the arms. And that's how I knew my return started. And now I'm at the end of it and I can feel it because like finally I'm getting like the report card back from the universe on how authentically you've been living your life, which is the whole point of it, right? Like the reckoning, like your quarter life crisis, right? And it's like, oh yes, thank God that I made friends with Jacob and Petrie and the rest of you and said yes to these things and said yes to my art and putting me first and all these people in my life. Because like, oh, thank God, like Zane was saying, like, oh, thank God I have these people who will call me out of my shit whenever I'm going through my shit. Cause like, fuck, if I hadn't, I'd be all the people I throw shade at. So shrug.com, you know, that's why I was happy, Jacob. I'm happy. Happy, God damn it. Oh,
Let's
but we
be
will
happy.
talk about, yeah, we are happy, but I will talk about an X in a minute. That was on the open floor topic.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for my Scorpio moon taking over and being like, so how is everybody else's misery going?
That was
It's fine because my Scorpio rising's like, I don't trust anyone.
my Scorpio rising is the same.
So
Yes, Team Scorpio rising. Anyway.
So audience and everybody in the chat currently, I'm gonna take a quick break because I really have to piss. But we will be right back with
On a man. He has to go piss on a man.
Yes.
Because which show are we on?
Oh, please.
It's more like piss on a tree because we are out in the woods. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I have just taken such a lovely piss and we are back and things are going to be a little bit I'm sorry, I got caught looking at Ryan. Anyway, things are going to be a little bit lighter for a minute here. So my final question before we open the floor completely is what is at the top of your Christmas wish list right now? Because Christmas is coming up. And we're ready to receive all the gifts.
A husband.
A fucking break.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
A polyamorous husband.
That's the move.
I can support. Only way to afford rent these days.
I mean.
So
I'm trying to think
talk
of something
about-
really materialistic. I'm trying to think of something really expensive that I actually really would like. Just I'm trying to think. Hang on.
So I would also like
Healthcare.
I would like a husband. Oh my God, health. I would love healthcare. I would love a husband,
Oh, yeah.
monogamous or poly, you know, whichever one I can get. But honestly, like I just want the home pods or whatever they're called from Apple, because like Alexa and Google Home don't have Apple Music capabilities, and unfortunately I'm an Apple slut. Like I call upon the ghost of I excuse me?
I said you didn't have to say Apple.
Uh,
So I call upon the ghost of Steve Jobs frequently, and I'm just so committed. I need my Apple smart home device. I'm even looking into like some of the smart light bulbs I already have to see if they're compatible with like an iHome or whatever. And like that's just what I want. That's just what I fucking want. And that's what I really want for Christmas this year, because honestly, like I'm one of those people where I feel like I already have everything that I really like want. Like unless somebody could like wave a wand and like fix all of my mental health. For now, I'll settle for that. I'll settle for that right now. You tried, Ryan. It didn't work.
What I want is to not have to make the awkward face at my relatives when they give me a gift that has like my family doesn't really know me these days, so they just give me some sort of random something like, we thought you would like this 3X Friends t-shirt that's like from Wish, and I'm just like,
Mustard of the month subscription.
thank
you had
you.
me at 3X. You had me at 3X.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was
It's
like, okay.
Thanks for the cum rag, Mom.
Yeah.
I think my sister was about to get me the Harry Potter series for Christmas. Because she texted me, "Do you have the Harry Potter series?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." But I was thinking, my sister's in her 40s. I love her. Was probably about to give me the DVD set of Harry Potter, and I was just like, "Thanks."
VCR.
Bootleg it. We don't support the dumpster fire that it came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could
Watch
use like
it
a
illegally.
dresser. I could use
You
like a
could
dresser
use
for
like a-
Christmas, like somewhere to put my clothes. You know.
Oh
something
my
like that.
God. Yes. Actual furniture. I forgot how to do
Furniture.
that.
Yes.
You know, is anyone else doing that too? Like, look, like behind me is like one of my stands. Like this is from a garage. Like this is to put shit in a garage. And the other half of it is on the other side of my room. And the only reason it's here is because my friend couldn't fucking get it together to send it back to Amazon when I was away for the summer in Dallas. So I'm like, well, I guess it's mine now, and I don't know what to do with it. So now it is a nightstand. I don't have shelves. I have another thing that I got from that same job in Dallas, which are these fucking cubes where like my clothes live. And then they look, this is are we what? Are we recording?
Yes.
That's my dresser. That's my dresser. Yeah.
I feel that because most of our stuff lives in cubes as well. We have these like these little organizer things, and it all lives in
Yeah.
cubes. But I also have a materialistic answer as well, though, because being in a throuple now, I have realized that my bed is not fucking big enough, so I want an Alaskan king.
Yes.
Ooh.
Honey, two people require at least a California king at this day and age.
me and my nearly 300-pound husband are sleeping in a queen, and then he is already a space heater. Then you add in Alex, who is also a space heater, and then there's me, who doesn't have any kind of like body temperature regulation anymore since I lost all my weight. I am sweating.
And
So,
they
yeah.
wake up.
Yeah,
Lizard.
I wake up visibly 5 pounds less. I'm like sagging skin. My hair's wet. I look like I'm in a Pantene commercial when they flip it. I'm like,
Just make somebody sleep in a dog bed. That's what I do.
I can attest. I can attest to this. Not to call them out like this, but like there's a large plushie collection in their bedroom that is soft and could be a very, very good bed. Sleep on those plushies and you will have the best night's sleep of your life. I'm not even kidding. Like I almost did.
No, I wasn't I wasn't ready for the quality of sleep I was getting when my husband was like, "Here, sleep with this instead of a pillow." And I was like, "Well, shit. Okay."
I won't comment on the plushie collection.
Look, when I spent the week at their place, I slept on their futon, and my pillows were both Octillery and Sleeping Pikachu, and it was like not some of the best sleep I ever had, but I had good friends there. I had good friends there that were going to let me sleep on them, and that was good.
That's like me sleeping at my friend's place on his futon that has like a bunch of these little pillows, but like you ain't got sheets. Like you got this little Christmas blanket, but you ain't got no extra sheets. Bitch, I need you to try harder. I just need you to try harder. I'm grateful because I'm here for free, but damn, I got what I paid for. Like
Nothing.
I feel like we all have that shared experience of like having to use a towel to cover up at a friend's house who just went to bed before
Your
they
jacket,
get
their jacket, their mom's jacket, mom's heels.
Yes.
say you're millennial without saying you're millennial.
I was gonna say, and
Snuggle up
because
with the dog.
I was gonna say because the AC was broken, I never had to use the blanket. I was perfectly sufficient without the blanket, so I was just like sleeping, just like with a pillow, and that was it.
Oh no,
like,
thanks. Oh no, thanks. I slept with several layers of clothes on because at the same friend's house, their heater was they just didn't turn it on. I'm like, Court, turn on the heater. And And like he did, but then it would like, it's like to 56. And I'm just like, I'm in this living room just being like, I don't know, molested by I'm sorry, trigger warning, I'm sorry. But just like the ice wind, Papa wind, the northern wind, whatever the name of the wind is, I forget. Like, because it's like some daddy wind. Anyway, that's mythology. Anyway, they're touching me inappropriately without consent.
Daddy Wind, your second single to come out, Alex.
There you go.
I'm done.
Daddy Wind was farting on you, and that's just all there was to it.
Oh, that's what the daddy wind is, huh? But thank God I put it on a good day. To people.
I'm trying to think what I want for Christmas, and like, as a Satanist, I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday of the whole year. I just love that people celebrate all the pagan holidays in one Christian holiday that's touted as Jesus's birthday, even though it was like in like June or something. Anyway, love it. Honestly, I just think I want money. Like, just give me money because I'm poor. I have a lot of debt from this last 2 years, and like, just stop giving me, wait, because Cameron, you said it, like, stop giving me the stupid shit I don't want from Wish. Like, just give me the cash you'd spend on me otherwise, even if it's $5, bitch, just Venmo me $5 and I'll be good.
Right.
Exactly, because that junk just sits like. Then I had to figure out what to do with the junk. I'm not going to use it, so now I have to be the one to just like throw this thing away.
Right. And at least if it's $5, I could like put it in a Go-Go Boys underwear. I can like spend it on something. You know what I mean? Like, I can just have fun with it.
Actually, taking that back, I buy me underwear. There you go. Is this a safe space? Are we all queer? It's time that we refresh the drawers, because guess what?
And the sheets, like the bedding too. It's time.
Anyway, if you don't have sheets and I come to your house, I'm leaving. At this point, it's 2022.
It changes the game in the world of hookups too, because I'm still doing that. So it's like, at 30, it's like, bitch, I need you to give me water. I need you to offer it. I need you to have clean sheets on this bed. I need you to have a working AC unit. I need you to tell me these things, or I need to
be comfortable.
And no lube sample packs.
Right.
Jesus fucking Christ. If I come over and you have lube sample packs, I'm done. I'm done with you.
That's sad. Do you know I'm still... Oh, wait. Is it time for the open floor yet?
Not yet. Not quite yet.
Okay. Well, then I'll save that for later.
I was just gonna say, my mom asked me what I wanted for Christmas tonight, and I was like, will you pay off my credit card debt? And she said, absolutely not. And then she paused and she was like, how much is your credit card debt? And I told her the amount, and she was like, oh, hell no. No. And I was like, okay, well, we'll figure something out. Right. Like, it costs money to buy all of this equipment to be a great podcaster, y'all. I'm not going to lie. Like, I went all out, and I'm not ashamed of it, but I am a woman with unique tastes, okay? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it.
That part.
It costs money to sound this cheap.
Exactly. Honestly, I think I'm going to need a new mic, because like whenever I listen to it, I'm like, oh, I sound grainy. Like, I don't sound so clear.
Oh, bless. Well, yeah, that's the chat, because that's probably what I should actually be requesting is like, the mic that goes with the new mixing board that I got from my stuff. Because I'm in the world of XLR now. I thought it was more kinky than this. It just means more expensive. But oh Lord. Oh, Daenerys be praised. Anywho.
I don't know. It would be nice to have a new car and more professional sounding equipment for my music and everything. That would be nice. But that's pretty much all. It's like, that's like a wish list. If I'm being realistic, there's not really anything that I want or need that can be given materialistically. Clarity. Clarity. I would like clarity.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God. So you are definitely the Lucy in this cabal of Chronicles of Narnia people right here. Like the sweet little youngest one from Chronicles of Narnia. Clap if you know Chronicles of Narnia. Like,
All
or
my
Bubbles,
vehicles are named after the siblings of Chronicles of Narnia. So yes.
right? Lucy is Alex. I'm just like, oh, it was such a pure wish.
See that.
Over here, I'm like, Susan, I want some makeup. I need a
No,
mic.
I'm barely here. What am
Who
I
am
gonna
I,
do with
Sai?
shit?
Mhm.
Who am I? Which one am I?
Oh, you're oldest one, Peter.
Okay, I'll take it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Even
Oh,
though
you're
you're technically
totally
older than me,
Hmm?
but I'll take it. You're technically older than me, but I'll take it.
Fair. Oh, I love how you had to. Okay, bitch. Wait.
Cameron is giving Edwin energy right now, okay?
Yes, Edmund.
Edmund.
Yes. Well,
I think I'm more
I wasn't
Edmund.
gonna stay true to that because there's 6 of us and there's only 4 of the kids. So,
But you can include Aslan. You can include the witch. You can
I can be
include.
the shitty little cousin from that one movie.
Yeah.
oh, yes, please.
I'll just be the aborted sibling.
Oh no. But also, yeah.
Put the coat hanger away, okay?
That part. Jacob, that means you get to be never mind, Jacob gets to be Susan.
I feel like I'm half Aslan and half the White Witch. I'm not quite sure if I'm like the huge hero or the huge villain, but I'm somewhere in between.
There's such a difference.
Say it's like 70-30.
Ah!
Just-
Right, let it out. Let it out.
That's life as a Capricorn, honestly. And okay, spoiler alert for everyone who's listening, the next Mindbook episode is going to see your friendly Gayborhood host put on trial. So like,
Ooh.
we doing that. So maybe it is 70% Cameron. I don't know.
You do like to describe yourself as the Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars, so I would lean more towards the witch in Narnia. That's just my opinion.
I
but,
did listen to that Star Wars episode.
That's just my opinion.
that's what I scream every time my name is mentioned when I'm not around. Every time my name is mentioned on a sweet tea, it's my opinion. I can't share because I'm not there. It's fine. You are Aslan in our eyes to at least a little bit because we do find you angelic when you want to be. So it works.
Oh my God, stop.
Glad
Stop. Don't ruin my street cred.
Can't
So
relate.
So, okay, this, everybody, you can unmute your mics. I'm ready for the chaos that ensues, but this is the open floor / extra sit portion of this episode. So is there any other tea that we really want to spill or or anything we would consider for an extra sip? So Sai, you had something to add earlier and I just want to hear it.
Yeah.
But before that happens, I do have to say, unfortunately, I have to go. I have had so much fun, but I must take my husband to work now. So I will talk to everybody later. And if y'all are still going when I'm free, then I will hop back on.
Absolutely.
Zane has been exterminated.
Mm-hmm.
So goodbye, everybody. It's been great. Bye, listeners. And
Oh, yes. Mic drop.
We will never know what.
They said,
No.
Jacob, you don't control me.
Right.
Jacob does not control my life.
we
I
love
leave when I want to leave.
we love Zane, and Zane is the only person whose life here that I don't control. Just know that. I just want you all to know that. No, we love Zane. It's always a pleasure to have Zane. They are the backbone of Southern Sweet Tea. They've been on all but one. Cameron is one of the discs in that backbone.
The ribs.
Because Cameron
From the
100%
vertebrae.
helped me co-host my I think it was my 4th Sweet Tea, and so I've just
I'll say whichever one we were in the middle of a blizzard.
We were in fact in the middle of a blizzard. So yeah. Well, Sai, unfortunately Zane won't be here for this tea, but I'm ready for you to spill this tea.
Got it. I'm doing.
Sorry.
Let me put this down. I'm eating and doing all these things ready for tomorrow because this isn't the tea, but we all know Queer as Folk. Cameron won't, but the rest of us will know.
Yes, I do. Are you kidding me?
I actually don't know Queer as Folk.
What?
Exactly.
I don't-
Talk to this child.
I don't either.
Don't be talking to me.
I've not seen a single
I had
episode.
YouTube. Listen.
All
In
intents
the
and
middle of the
purposes,
night,
I
I'll go
am
to YouTube.
straight.
Oh my God, in the middle of the night, I'll watch YouTube. Okay.
Right.
Stop.
Like, come on now. Like, I found Queer as Folk, whether I was supposed to or not.
Okay. All right. So the
So I
first.
loves to think I'm so pure, but anyway, continue. Sorry.
I'm just so sheltered. Your timeline of when you were allowed to have a screen in front of you, it confuses
understand.
me.
I understand, but listen, I found my ways when I needed to. You know what I mean?
Okay, apparently. So, like, Queer as Folk, for the gays listening, for the new generation listening, was the very first, like, gay show. You think it's Will and Grace, but it wasn't. Queer as Folk was, like, all, like, not, but, like, the characters were all gay. Like, main cast, gay or lesbian. Like, living life, I feel like, was it in California? Was it LA or was it New York? I forget. Either way, one of the first times you ever saw gay sex on TV, they did like the full scenes. They lacked for diversity, but then you just went and watched The L Word, which was the first lesbian show, like truly. And now they're rebooting and they're basing it in New Orleans. And so tomorrow I get to go be an extra on the set in like a little mall scene for them. Cause I was like, I have no time to do this, but I'm doing it anyway because it's Queer as Folk and it meant so much to me. It's like, we didn't have like HBO or Showtime or whatever they came on. So like, go back in time to when you like got your TV on a box that sat on top of the TV itself and you had to pay for it to get like certain channels. But like, you could still hear and see things in the haze of like static snow. And that's how I first watched Queer as Folk. So it was like, oh no, we are going to make the pilgrimage to be on that as just, if I could touch the hem of one of their outfits, I know I'll be healed. I know I will. All my
Amen.
mental.
Yes.
Amen.
These children don't understand that.
They
They
don't.
really don't. They really
They
don't.
don't.
That biblical reference or Queer as Folk. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oh shit, my bad, ADHD. So yeah, the thing I wanted to bring to the floor was,
We don't know.
okay, who here has ever had a toxic ex?
Hand raised.
I am the toxic ex.
Oh God.
The twist. So I had mine for a good January through honestly up until like August. And I just have some things to say. Like, why? And how could I? And can I get that time back? And God, can I get that time back? So yeah, you know, in addition to, I got a lot of great art out of it. Like, oh, so much good art came from this. Like the premise, oh, so many layers. I may get my writing gig because of this X, because I'm like, oh, I'll just use them as the foil. Because I had so much to talk about. And so now I'm like, I don't know how to feel as I do the process of the whole letting go thing, right? Because I don't want you to do better than me still, but I also don't want to care about what you do. But I also want you to continue to fail at what you really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm currently at. Separate from the good mental health is like, ooh, I'm seeing you. I don't want you to be this happy. But like, also I know I poison my happiness by like even thinking about you. So like I've nicknamed you in my like friends chat with my own Wiccan big sister, as like he who must not be remembered.
Mhm.
So yes, thoughts.
I had one that, oh, okay. I would say I had one that was toxic as I was trying to break up with them. That would like send me, like, in the theater world, we have theater makeup, and the little kids come with like the bruising kids, or whatever. Like one time, this man sent me a picture like of him, like washed out, looking dead. Like, what would you do if I was dead? Like it got intense.
Sleep really well.
It got intense. I
Super
was like, okay,
queer.
yeah. So I've been there. I don't think I've been the toxic boyfriend after the fact, like the toxic ex. But yeah, I feel that. I've been there.
So this is why
I'm sorry to bore you, Jacob.
This is why no.
Oh,
I have had nothing. I've consumed alcohol, so now I'm like at that point where I'm like, I'm like really comfortable. But like,
Girl, same.
so honestly, like this is why my relationships don't last super duper long, because like I can draw out the toxicity super early. And if I detect that, I'm just like, throw this bitch in the trash. And I do. And that's how I've dealt with toxic people. I used to be and this is, and Dylan, I'm sure you're familiar with this term, but I'm unfortunately, I have codependent tendencies. And codependence
Triggered.
is like a disease, for a lot of us. This goes for people just in general. So you find yourself constantly wanting to save people, wanting to make people better, blaming yourself, finding backwards ways to blame yourself for things. And then like, it'll just come to a point where you're like, wait, I'm like so miserable right now. Like I can't like continue going on and living and also like living through this facade. It's just like coming out of the closet, you know what I mean? So, you know, once again, throw that bitch in the trash. And honestly, like, it's okay to dwell. It's totally okay to dwell on somebody else's, like, it's okay, because especially like somebody that was in your life for that period of time and meant something to you for that period of time, it's totally fine for you to like still think about them. It's natural, it's gonna happen. But at the end of the day, like, you're allowed to like wish ill upon them. I'm sorry, that sounds really problematic. It's okay for you to wish ill upon them. It's okay for you to be happy about them. But at the end of the day, as long as you're not dwelling on them, that's ultimately like what you have to learn to do, is strike that balance where like ultimately you wash your hands of that and you're done. And whatever happens is just gonna happen. You know what I mean? And eventually you won't wish ill, you won't wish good. You'll just be glad that you don't have to even dwell on it anymore. So that's my answer to that.
Yeah.
I wish I had my
Agreed.
fan.
Jacob said what I should have said. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Something that I really vibe with Alanis Morissette is that she's not really about necessarily, you know, keying your ex's car or slashing their tires or anything like that. But the reason why her songs can swerve a little more angry is that she fuels all of her fantasies, her angry fantasies into it. There's nothing wrong with being angry. There's nothing wrong with being hurt. It's where you put that and how you decide to act it out and everything. You can wish terrible things on people who have been terrible to you and everything. If that's the way that you choose to process it and everything like that, just don't catch charge. So, and that's the thing.
That part, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm a little leery with like putting all that negativity out there towards them. I feel like it'll come back to you, perhaps. But if like Alex said, if you need a process, however you need a process, I will definitely go to some old Kelly Clarkson or some Key Jacquard, Doug McKee, Carrie Underwood, if I need to,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And just to like, and it was like so triggering because it's one of those where it just took the longest to like say the words. We're in a couple. Like we are a relationship, one of those types. Where it's like, oh no, we're not. I was like, so what are we right now? Friends. Really?
Mm.
Really? Okay.
2 + 2 = 4, you know.
That part. I'm like,
Three.
well, if it
One
looks like a
plus
duck.
one equals 2.
So I'll share, as I said before, I am the toxic ex.
Oh, you meant that. Okay, bitch, speak.
Oh, bitch, yes. And quite a few people who are listening probably know me as the toxic ex, so that's
Mm.
cute. A few people who have been stars of the show have also probably seen me as a toxic ex. So I'm
This
not
is
gonna
news to me.
spill
I was gonna say
that
this is news to
cheer.
me. I was
Girl in
gonna
the
say
Any,
that's news
sea.
to me. That's news to me.
anyway, so what I will say is that nothing has shown me like more of like how toxic I was until somebody just had nothing to do with me. So to draw that boundary and just there was nothing left after that made me really look in the mirror and be like, okay, yep, I fucked up. I was toxic. And so I learned a lot from that. And I thank that person very regularly in my head and in my energy space of just allowing that to happen. So as the toxic ex who has now like tried to learn and correct my behavior, like I really thank that person.
Also, let's acknowledge. Oh wait, Sai is having a monologue. Hold on a second. Sai, what were you
No,
saying?
I was like, I have my other mic here to keep me muted better because this button was getting too hard to reach, as we will see in the outtakes. But no, I was just saying, like, okay, but wait, so reading you to filth wouldn't have helped nobody.
Nope.
Like, yelling at you, doing all the things, acting all the like that wouldn't have done anything to you, would it?
To be honest, it's like feeding trolls. I would have probably
Wow.
fed into and then been the victim in my
Wow. So
situation.
even if it was like a calm, like, okay, so here are the things that are wrong and blah, 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 that wouldn't have, like, it still would have been feeding the troll.
Well, I mean, remember we're talking about toxicity, right? So like
Uh-huh.
when this all happened, if that would if we were in the exact predicament, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I would have taken that and just played that as pulled the victim card and been like,
Wow.
I'm the victim.
Wow. Oh, this is so affirming and relieving. Oh my God. Because I very much we're just not talking to you anymore. Like we're just like here you are all the way outside of this Taurus. You are in this asteroid belt. You aren't in this inner solar system. Jupiter is eyeing you. Like, thank you. I needed that. Sometimes people do just need that little, what is it, effigy thing? Um, yes, come through.
So let's also really quick acknowledge
I'm
like
done.
I was gonna say, let's just acknowledge like the role, like the toxic role that heteronormativity can sometimes play in queer relationships. Because some people are not still quite comfortable with accepting the fact that they are queer and that they are in fact trying to actually be in a queer relationship. So they let things like I don't want to hold your hand or if I'm not committed to this, like that means that I don't have to be in this queer relationship, even though like they're already doing everything they can. I mean, it's the same problem, and I'm sure we have all experienced this as people who have frequented Grindr before. DL guys, people who are down low, they want to enjoy all of the fruits, no pun intended, all of the fruit, all of the fruits that come, all of the fruits that come that come from being queer, and from experiencing their queer fantasies and everything like that without actually having to take up the societal burden of facing the backlash that comes with being queer. And I understand not wanting to face the societal burden, but you know what? At the same time, when I was still quote unquote in the closet, to the general public, I did not partake in stuff like that. And that's because, like, at the end of the day, I once again I acknowledge that societal burden, and I was responsible in not playing with anybody's feelings. You know, I was not going to objectify somebody and use them like a fucking fleshlight. Now, if we, you know, if someone wants to consent, if I want to consent to being used like a fleshlight, that's totally fine. But with that, I don't want to be your quote unquote dirty little secret, like, because it's not. It's 2021 now. Like, own up to it, grow a fucking pair of balls. Like, you know, there's this whole idea of like being quote unquote a man, but man up, and if you're gonna bust a nut inside me, be man enough to own up to it. That's all.
Oh, that part. You know, and just to provide more context, was out, you know, even though this situation, that was a whole nother ex. But yeah, no, this one's separate, where it's like, you know, it's sad because you come out, like, you are now out, you're very, you know, you ain't doing no headless shots, no nothing on Grindr, on Jacked, on another, you know, but then it's taking the next step and saying that I want a relationship, and not coming out in that way too, and saying like, oh, you know, because I studied behaviors for 2 years. So it was like, all your behaviors say you're really reliant, you're really trustful, and you really, really, like, your words are saying this, but then like, okay, you're asking me to sleep over every night, you know, I bring you to work, I bring you from work. It's gotten to the point where I know like the ins and out of your, like, you asked me to get your goddamn social security card from a drawer. I knew which drawer you were talking. Like, it was that, you know, I was like, okay. And so now who are you protecting except you, because you're afraid of like losing this thing, because, and then he admitted it too. He was like, oh no, I don't even know how to love myself. So I don't even know how I would like accept that from somebody else. Like, I just already think he's in his no trusting phase. Whereas like, I don't even know how to think that like, anybody could actually want me for me. And I was just like, wow, it's not my job to fix you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So that's what this is. Wow. And it sucks because like, if you could have just gotten your shit together, Diana Ross, we would have been great together. But, and then that's the part that I'm like letting go of now. Like, that's out the picture, but the fantasy, as Mariah Carey would say, the sweet, sweet fantasy, baby. Every time I open my eyes, it still entertains me. Like, so yeah, but that's it. That's, yeah, to, you know, it gets sad. It gets better sometimes, but then it also, sometimes it just gets sadder. It's like, oh, wow, right? So that's that. But yes, go team.
I will say, I have been that person who needed to quote get their shit together in order, and we would have been cool. I have been that person. Yeah. Yeah. And now looking back, it's like, wow, like that was really a learning lesson for my ego's sake. Like, I really was the problem, and I could have done better. But anyway,
this is why communication is super effective. Communicate your needs. Communicate your wants, communicate where you are, and be honest whenever questions arise. And if that person was strictly upfront with you and was like, you know, like, I crave some kind of intimacy, but I'm not ready to love myself, so how could I ever love another person? I think that things would have ended a lot differently and a lot sooner than they did, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, it's a lot of like, I want my cake and to eat it too. It was that. It was like, okay, you can't want all these things. You can't say, oh no, I want you here, here, here for these things. You're this most important person in my life. And then he actually did this. I can quote him, Bradley, because he's not going to listen to this. But I was like, okay, Bradley. You know, like, he was like, I love you platonically. I was like, I don't know how to take that at all. Wait. And then, like you said, he'll play that victim card, because I was like, well, you know, it was kind of mean at work when you threw a cart at me that could have physically injured me, because it's a very heavy cart working at the Bezos plantation. And it's like, oh, you're just being too sensitive. And then the next time I brought it up, no, you earned it. You deserved it. I was like, So I'm hearing what you're saying and I'm compartmentalizing because I work in this Bezos plantation. But I feel like when I leave here, I have to leave you here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say what Cameron basically said, except the opposite, in that now that I have figured myself out, I realized that I was the toxic person, that it never would have worked out now that I figured myself out.
Oh yeah, same here. Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, so.
Welcome to the lighter part of the show, everyone.
Well,
And I was gonna say, Jacob kind of hit it on the head, kind of like you, and Jacob was around for my last relationship, which was like almost 4 years long, and it was pretty serious. It was like I was looking for them to communicate something to me, so I knew that I was secure in this relationship. Like I was like, you need to communicate, you need to tell me how you feel and everything. But really, I was just looking for them to tell me that I was, worthy of keeping around. When really at the time I had cheated and I was an asshole and I was like busy wanting to do what I wanted to do. So yeah, like, no, they didn't need to communicate anything to me other than what I needed communicated to me. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like Jacob is sitting here like, I know all y'all's backstories.
Yeah, but I understand as well, like still thinking about those people. I mean, this has now been 3 or 4 years, probably 5 years now, but like you still think about that person. You think about the good times, you think about the times when things were going right, especially when you wish you still had some of those connections, especially the longer you're with someone. It's like it's really hard to let it go, whether it ended good or bad, because you still want to have some of those connections, and especially if you're someone who was dependent on that relationship to feel any sort of connections. Like I definitely hit a major, like one of the most major times in my life where depression was very hard on me was after that last relationship, because it was a lot of self-realizing, like, oh, not only was I not the best me, but I wasn't the best me for them either. So like it was never like, oh well, they should have done this and this and this. Like when you're the one who needs to be the one to make some adjustments and you don't realize it afterwards, it's pretty hard. But yeah, for sure, cut them out, because that's what they need. Because like when I was trying to get rid of that toxic one that was trying to like threaten that he'd kill himself if I broke up with him, trigger warning, sorry, but that's how it was. It was like, okay, well, I just need to stop any sort of anything with you, because otherwise you're not going to get the point. Yeah.
And since we are moving into the lighter part of the episode,
Seriously,
I just want everyone to know that we're only moving to the lighter part of the episode on YouTube, because right now, for all of you people who are listening on your podcast platforms, we're going to go ahead and end it here. If you'd like to tune into my YouTube channel to get the extra sip, or as I would like to call it now, since there are so many people here, the big gulp. You can go ahead and I was gonna say you can go ahead and tune in.
We have
over
a
to the
big
channel.
load waiting.
We have such a huge salty surprise waiting for you right over at youtube.com. Search Out in the Woods podcast. You will find us there. But for now, podcast listeners, thank you so much for coming out in the woods. And we'll see you later. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Big Gulp. I'd like to start this out by once again like shouting out the fact that I have a secret alt Twitter, which I'm still not revealing the name of. But just know that out there somewhere you can find some very not safe for work photos of your friendly Gayborhood host, and they are prime material. Okay.
How do I not know about this?
I think that I follow you on there. If not, just wait till after the episode and I'll give you the ad. Okay.
Can I just say, just because I'm nosy, not because I am sexually attracted to Jacob, I was like, I need to find this fake account, because I have found
Fake
other
account.
friends, not fake account, but I have found other friends' accounts accidentally, and I'm like, so
Well, I need to know because I am sexually attracted to Jacob.
Exactly.
So
Hey.
Hey.
Oh my God. Yes. I mean, good job that you have a sex Twitter. I got one. They're great.
They really are. So what I wanted to talk about was Twitter Spaces. Have you guys heard of this new feature on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not.
Well, I know you have, Alex, because I've talked about them with you many times. But so Twitter Spaces are basically like, oh, Alex got so offended. I'm so sorry, honey. I didn't mean it that way. I just meant that we've already probably had some of these conversations. Um, um,
Who got offended?
okay. So this gulp is very big. You might cough on this gulp. So so Twitter Spaces are basically like large voice chat rooms in Twitter. So, if you have a Twitter account and you see a Spaces open, you can hop on and voice chat with the greater Twitter community. If someone's that is following you or you follow is on a space, you can see it advertised right up at the top on your Twitter app. And you can hop on and you can chat with some other folks. Now, here's the thing. Hold on. Let me check and make sure I'm not being listened to. All right. So
It's getting real. It is getting really real.
So in these spaces, and I've only experienced them on the alt side of Twitter, mind you. In these spaces, I really enjoyed them at first, because it was a bunch of salacious queer folk talking to other salacious queer folk about all sorts of things, and I'm very sex positive. I'm very about talking about sex and everything involved, and kinks and whatnot. Even if it's not yum, I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I just wanna hear. I just wanna learn. And that was really fascinating. And I started to grow a group of friends and followers through that as well. But things quickly turned toxic in Twitter Spaces. And what I found is that like things generally turn toxic in Twitter Spaces because ultimately, y'all, it's Twitter. It's Twitter. How many threads have you read about somebody that you don't even know getting canceled because of something that they said or something that they liked or something that they looked at? It's that, but you're in a voice chat environment. So you have these fun conversations going on, and then you have that one problematic person or that one troll that wants to come in and start causing trouble, or you start to find out more about these people that you're chatting with, and you're like, oh my God, like, you know what? I would never want to hang out with you in real life. Holy shit. Like, and honestly, like, you know, I I think the scary thing about Twitter Spaces too, for me specifically, was that they provided an extra space because I have all the friends in the world that I could ever want. I have such good friends in real life, such close friends, but it provided me some kind of almost therapeutic outlet where I could talk to complete strangers about whatever was going on in my mind or whatever was going on in my life or whatever, in complete anonymity. I mean, other than the fact that, like, they can like see my whole body, you know what I mean, including my face, because I'm not going to be scared to show my face. Um, and ultimately, like, that opens up doors to things that you're not quite ready for. Oversharing, or talking about codependency once again, feeling codependent with these people that you don't even know and feeling like you're obligated to get on and spend time with them. It almost becomes an addiction. So I'm not saying that Twitter Spaces are bad. I'm just saying, like, the minute that you start to smell a hint of toxicity, know that you're not invalidated, that it probably is toxic, and you're totally fine and you're totally valid if you want to exit that conversation. That is one great thing about Twitter Spaces, is you can exit the conversation and you don't have to worry about, like, you don't have to worry about having to, like, have a reason. You just don't have to be there. You just don't have to be there at all,
Mhm.
And I'd just be vulnerable real quick.
Yes.
People that are like really into the kink scene and community don't need to resort to Twitter Spaces to like get that outlet. So, and I'm not saying everybody there is like just a fake or whatever. What I'm saying is, like, being careful and realizing that people who are drawn to those spaces typically don't have spaces other places. So potentially they're like, me when I was in Mississippi, there was 6 people in the state that I could relate to that were pups. So like obviously I had to go to the online community. And so that also meant that I didn't need to rely on other people in places that didn't have a community to like for information.
Mm.
So now that I'm out in Phoenix, learning that like the people I hang out with every weekend are actually not on like all these apps. They're not on Recon. They're not on like all these things like advertising their kinks because we have spaces to do that.
Absolutely.
So
I'm just talking more about the fact that like you get to know a person through this virtual thing and then like it starts to spread into your real life. You know what I mean? So for instance, I'm not going to name any names, but there was this one person in particular who really was ultimately out to promote their Twitter and try to grow like a following and try to potentially grow an OnlyFans following for money. And they had this really problematic thing that they did where they were 40, but they told everybody that they were only interested in men between the ages of 18 and 25. Which is, it's fine, you know what I mean? Whatever floats your boat. But they mostly referred to these men as boys. So they would say things like, I've got this hookup with this boy tonight, and I've got this, and they were not in like, and Ryan, let me go ahead and clarify, for anybody out there who is in a specific kink community, they were not in like a dom sub kind of relationship with these people. They were not in a sir boy, daddy boy kind of relationship. They just referred to people as boys. And whenever,
thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, and it also kind of, it started to grate on people's nerves too whenever certain people of color would be like, hey, like we don't like being referred to as boy, or whenever like it was almost one of those things where they never outright said it, they never outright mask off said it, but it was kind of, the implication was like the younger the better. And ultimately, they are still a prominent figure in Twitter Spaces. They are still ultimately growing a following right now. And they have not, there was basically like a huge like uproar, and I was part of that uproar where people were basically like, hey, you need to be held accountable, like you really don't need to say this. And instead of taking accountability, they started saying things like, like what you don't know is that in my real life, like I'm not this exuberant, I'm not this confident, I'm not this, I'm not that. And, it takes a lot for me to be able to say this stuff, or I'm from a completely different generation than you. So you don't understand that it's completely normalized for me to call people boys, so you would never understand. So instead of taking accountability and owning up to things and trying to change their behavior, they never did. And as a result of them kind of not really suffering any like true consequences from that, and them kind of like making me feel guilty for trying to like make them change their ways as a friend, quote unquote, I've decided that I really want nothing more to do with Twitter Spaces. And once again, the toxicity that comes with that, because since I stopped going to Twitter Spaces, I've been called a couple of times to come on, and I'll go on and they'll be like, you'll never guess what just happened. This person was using a racial slur, or this person was talking about how they don't agree with Black Lives Matter. This person was referring to trans people as the T slur. And I'm like, honestly, like, I don't want to be around that. Like, I don't. Like, that's like, I know that it sounds like juicy drama or whatever, and it's good TV, but in my real life and for my own mental health, I don't want anything to do with that. And I started to note how, like, once again, the codependence and the feeling obligated to be on those spaces actually made me miss out on opportunities with people in my real life who I really cared about and who I really needed to be with. And yeah, so like, y'all, like, if y'all feel like you can relate, if it doesn't even have to be Twitter Spaces, if y'all feel like y'all can relate out there, like, please, like, take a step back and like focus on what's in front of you and focus on, your real life, you know. Don't get sucked. I think it goes back into being sucked into your cell phone. It's just a different form of being sucked into your cell phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. But also, like, go ahead and get yourself an alt Twitter. Go ahead and start posting all of your nudes on there, because you know what? Be free. It's one of the best things that I've done for my own self-image and my own body positivity. Be yourself, be uniquely you, and enjoy. If you are comfortable, enjoy and reap the rewards of such.
And also be careful.
Yeah,
And also
yes.
be careful.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
be
Be
careful.
careful.
And don't be a teacher, like, and you know, and don't have any work with kids. Like, don't
anything.
Date a teacher either.
Don't date a teacher. No.
Don't have straight friends.
Don't have straight friends. Don't talk about it.
Mhm.
Like,
Mm-mm.
like, and as in like on your regular social media page, you know, just because that ends a career real quick when you work in the education system, and that's just why I'm.
Yes.
You know, it's like, okay, because we still can't separate the person who is doing this from the person who's with your kid. And then also, like, they not trying to have sex with your kid. Like, so just in case you may be in that, you know, just be careful. Yes. And there we go. Yes. And then the rest for the body positivity.
So Karen can flaunt her 8 fucking cream pies at Walmart, but God forbid I get bread on Twitter.
That part. Yeah.
That part.
Not cream pies and cream pies.
Some kombucha.
I honestly wish I had known about Twitter earlier because of it. I just like got rid of the apps recently. I was like, you know what? I am tired of going on these apps. Let me tell y'all. I went on, I think the last time I will ever use Grindr, I was like, okay, this dude seems safe. He's a total fucking nerd, like 90s nerd. Like we're talking best friend from the fucking Goofy movie. Not the fluffy one, but the one with the red hair with the glasses. Who's working Blockbuster one day.
The Cheesa, the Leaning Tower of Cheesa. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was like, okay, I can't go wrong with this, right? So actor is like doing voiceover stuff for like some DC things, like DC motion comics. I'm like, we have a lot to talk about. I'm so happy. Go to his place. He's like, I'm not really into just hookups. I was like, that's awesome. You know, everything's going great. And then the Fire Nation attacked. We had a cute moment on the couch where we're like, what's a great date movie? And then I was like, you know what's a great date movie is Night of the Living Dead. And I was like, I said that. And I was like, Night of the Living Dead, not Evil Dead, Night of the Living Dead. Because quality, you know. And he was like, yeah. So we watched that. Something spills on his pants. He's like, I need to go change my pants. Does so. And then he comes back with blue velvet Nickelodeon character pants. He's 6'4", and he's wearing these pants that aren't the length of his leg, and they're pajamas from the 90s. And I'm looking at them, and they're looking back at me, and I look back at them, and they look back at me, and we look at each other. And I think, he's a virgin. And I'm like, hey, so when's the last time you've maybe been with a man?
I'm glad I was muted because I just screamed.
Same. Feel free to unmute the mic. This is what, after hours? We can talk over each other now, right, Jake?
Yes.
Right. So, you know, he was like, it's been a while. I was like, really? Ever? I'm like, because we're in very
like a past lifetime. Like,
yeah.
Avatar.
Like we're
like
talking
a past reincarnation.
Scooby-Doo and the witches go. Has it been that long? on a scale because he's 91. I'm like, when were you born? He's like,
or like Fred Flintstone, like the Flintstones.
yeah,
When the
on a
Flintstones
scale of Fred Flintstone to Steven Universe, when was the last time you've had sex? I'm just curious. He was like, well, it was pre-pandemic. And I was like, uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Slow blink. So I'm like, and then he's trying to get frisky because I'm very like comfortable to be around, and he's white, so I was like, you know what, kind of reminds
so
with
now
that.
he has to prove
Should've
it.
led
Now
with
he has
that.
to prove it.
right, and he's from Pennsylvania. No, he's from Sweden, but then also Pennsylvania. Like he was born and raised there, but then like came like in between the two. I'm like, yeah, because you're so goddamn weird. Okay.
And the homeland, like you're
Right.
talking about like native white.
I'm like, I went to the source. I was like, well, thank you, Grinder. So yeah, long story short, he's like trying to move things back to his bedroom, and it looks like the back of a video store that they like your best friend. It's like filled with like the 1980s Dungeons and Dragons TV show, like that's on the wall. DVDs along the same vein are on the wall. I'm like, well, this is what I expected from the 40-year-old virgin. Okay, 30-year-old, I'm sorry. And I turn around and then my face hits something and I'm like, oh, what's this chain doing from the ceiling fan? He's like, oh, I'll get that. And then he clicks it and it's a noose. And I was just like, it was like the Kill Bill music just came on. It was like, I was just like,
You in danger, girl.
Yeah.
Danger.
I was like, oh, what's this? And he was like, oh yeah, don't you love it? And I was just
I'm so glad I stayed on
I'm
for
like,
this.
in my Carrie Bradshaw voice, I was like, when did nooses become a kink?
Never.
Okay. I'm like,
you're having like ancestral flashbacks at this point. You're just like like camera zooming in on your face as your eyes just get like wider and more full of tear. Like
it was like, and then he's like, it's the best knot. Don't you agree? And I was just, not the best knot. And then he just goes geeking out about how hard it is to get one right. But then once you do, they're perfect for everything. And then he starts adjusting it. He starts playing with it. He's like, you can make it longer, shorter, tighter. So they're the perfect knot. They're best for everything, especially for boats. I love them. And I was just like, I'm never using this app again. And I'm going to go to church. And then I'm going to pray, and then I'm going to go to a voodoo priest, and then I'm going to pray again for any of the ancestors who got offended from the first thing. But I'm just going to take a bath in sacred water, and then I don't know, maybe I'll just die. I don't know.
God.
And that's what stopped me using the apps and then me using Twitter. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's just like, there's just no winning for me here. Nope.
Dylan,
That level of bad.
You seemed to have something you wanted to talk about before everybody had to go. So Dylan, I want to hear what you have
Hold
to
on.
say.
I'm trying to let me package
There's
it.
a lot to process.
Let me just
That's my normal dating life. Again, wait, did I tell you all this? Like BBC was first introduced to me on Grindr. Like someone was like, "Oh, you got that BBC?" And I was like, "Yeah."
bitch, I'm a bottom.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, so you got good BBC?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it works all night."
I watched
And it's
Doctor
like, yeah,
Who
what you
all
got,
the time.
Bingo. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, I've got Downton Abbey, I've got Doctor I've got Primeval." He's like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was like, BBC. even and then it was like, no, big black, big black. I can't say the word. It's a white word. If in case you didn't like, if you go back to your peers, no black person ever says that.
True.
If just to say it's a white people word. This is a safe space. So just so you know, that only exists in white sex spaces.
You don't have to say it, girl. We can.
I'm trying.
I said it for you.
I can't say it. Oh, say it again.
Cock.
It's weird. Both times my thing buffered, but I get your point. I get your point. Yeah, it's that one. I can't say that or the word straight people love so much. It's they watch it all the time. Football, baseball.
Sports?
That you do a good job. Good job saying that.
I mean,
surprise.
I'm on the pansexual side of the queer spectrum. So
fair. Yeah, I feel like that's the trick in saying that word too. Say it again. Surprise.
I wanted to talk about drag because you've had 2 or 3 drag queens on this this good little podcast.
Yeah.
And not one person has mentioned the RuPaul versus Dragula versus supporting local drag. So I just wanted to throw the topic out there of like the toxicity that exists in the drag community, or not even the drag community, the drag fan community, because nobody's a drag queen here. Anybody a drag queen? No. Okay, so all we can talk about is the drag fan community, because none of us should be commenting on drag if we have never gotten on stage and done drag.
Right, like trying to give critiques. Oh yeah.
Literally, could you? I can't see my big ass in a fucking corset lip syncing to some bitch's song. I can't do it. So why do I feel like why is there so many people that feel like they have the authority to like comment on other people's art? Anyway, so is anybody watching Dragula right now?
No.
Honestly, I'm waiting till it's over so I can just do that 7-day trial or whatever and binge it all in like 24 hours.
We're all waiting till it's over.
I'm not keen enough for Dragula.
Well,
see. Oh, go ahead. I was
anybody watch it? Like RuPaul is something that I've never watched. Like I've never watched a single episode. So.
Okay, well now I've seen every season like 4 times.
Well, so because we're not that kinky, Cameron.
Well, I've seen Dragula too, just not these.
Oh, never mind. Okay, bondage.
Yeah. I like all.
You don't know what's in that closet. Y'all see those 2 little doors back there? Look, I opened them up one time.
The cubes that we talked about earlier. The cubes with the clothes. Jacob's trying to make it naughty. I'm like, yeah, I got clothes.
Yeah, those kind of clothes. Those kind of clothes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He secretly has a high tolerance for pain.
I don't, but yeah.
There's a whole car battery and jumper cables in there. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it.
Because he's prepared.
Now, see, if I wasn't around to defend myself, everyone would take Jacob very seriously.
I think just listening to your very first episode, we would know. We would just know. We would know.
I would more than likely have the sequins vest that I had when I was on the praise team at the gospel church than to have the opposite.
The leather, all the leather.
Yeah.
I'd imagine a leather hobbit. I'd imagine
something
prayer beads.
Right. You don't want to be peed on, Cameron.
I'd more than likely be like in a Chewbacca like cosplay or something before.
And then you would like to be peed on?
Wow.
So what I hear is that you're a furry.
Pee on me in the Spice Mines of Kessel, Daddy.
Oh my god.
This
took a turn.
So anyway,
that's
drag. My kind of topic I wanted to throw out is like, what have y'all seen in the like the local drag scene where you're at.
So
that you wanna
honestly,
comment on?
I
It's
would
non-existent in NOLA, almost.
Non-existent in NOLA.
Almost. Back in like another town, it was like Lafayette area, total bars, all that other stuff. In NOLA, I'm like, what is the dedicated drag? Like they exist, they out here, they performing. But to me, it's just like at drag brunches on Sunday. Like it's nowhere close to what I'm used to.
Have you never seen Laveau Contraire?
That too. But I mean,
She's
if
amazing.
anything, burlesque is more popular here.
True. I could see
I
that.
I was gonna say, so I watched a couple of episodes of the first season of Dragula, which is probably why I didn't keep watching because I was like, eh. But
The first season is pretty low
Rough.
budget compared
Just
to
skip the
rest of
first
them. Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of RuPaul. So let me say first, I think after Sharon Needles won, things kind of became very formulaic. I feel like, and I can't speak for Dragula, but as somebody that has watched RuPaul's Drag Race and actually gone out and experienced local drag, I feel like RuPaul's Drag Race set up a lot of unrealistic expectations for drag. I feel like RuPaul's Drag Race commodified drag and shot drag
That.
with the gun of capitalism.
Yep.
And so I would say that my local drag scene is actually great because as someone that frequents my local drag bar frequently, my local gay bar, specifically the MC and the owners of the bar are very good about getting local talent from all over the southeastern United States. So they'll have queens from Louisiana one weekend, they'll have queens from Alabama one weekend, they'll have queens from Florida one weekend. They like to cycle it out. They have a couple of house queens that perform all the time. And honestly, like the thing is, I have not seen a drag number there objectively where I was like, that was not a good number. Like all of the numbers that I have seen there from all of the local queens have been great because ultimately, there are still times where I'm like, I look at someone's outfit and I'm like, God, how much money did they pay for that? That is just fucking exquisite. But ultimately, it's the heart. That's the thing. What you have to remember is that drag is an art form, and what you're watching is somebody putting their heart out there. That's why I had this discussion with some straight dude, funnily enough, at the gay bar one time when I referred to them as drag artists. He was like, why would you call them artists? I'm like, because what they're doing is art. Like, they're literally like painting themselves up or not painting themselves at all. They're either dressing up in these outlandish outfits or just giving you a fishy queen experience where you think you're seeing a woman before your eyes. It doesn't matter. But what they're doing is a performance, and therefore it is art. It requires artistry, it requires technique, it requires some form of talent to be able to go up there in front of an audience and perform a number. And so,
Like, sir, I know you can't be helped to wash your asshole every day, but like, this is art.
and
This is
therefore,
art. That part.
and therefore, I haven't quite seen anybody. I mean, I like at certain events, I have seen queens pull out some like RuPaul's Drag Race level like costumes and makeup and performances and all of that. But what you have to remember, if you're out there listening and your only exposure to drag has been on TV, what you have to remember is that these queens are performing with what they're given and what they have at their disposal. So you're not gonna see all of these coordinated flashing lights to a lip sync. You're going to have them right there under the harsh lights of your local gay bar, you lip syncing their heart out and doing, whether they're dancing or they're doing the power stands, they're just walking around and they're artists trying to get their money. And that's what drag is. So yeah, I think I'm smelling what you're stepping in, Dylan, but like that's the thing, like absolutely, I think that it's unfair. I think that it's honestly unfair to turn drag into a competition on that scale. Like obviously there are drag contests and drag pageants, but to turn it into a competition on that scale and tell somebody, I just don't think that you are the ultimate drag queen right now is absolutely totally unfair.
So, and then real quick, and then I'll dip out in a second. But like adding on to that, yeah, agreed totally. Like those unrealistic expectations, like are, I think, kind of killing like my local scene back where I am from, because then it's just, first off, it's just only female impersonators. Like, that's it. And so that's why I still stand Dragula for coming out, because it's like, I didn't know that kind of drag existed. And which confused me whenever like we're in like the hotbed of like pageant queens, essentially. And then suddenly comes out and they're doing this heavy metal rock number and I don't even know what's happening. And I'm like, oh, this is also drag, right? Like, I needed that because RuPaul doesn't have any of that. And it's just, and it's not trying to do, it's like, because RuPaul themselves is just this. So like, okay, it makes sense. You do what you know, fair. But at the same time, I don't know, it feels like so much of our generation and lower got introduced to everything through these shows. And so they didn't know that there was like a community beforehand where all this like derived from, and that it was supposed to be a community first for you to just be whoever the fuck you wanted. So if you wanted to dress up as a man, girl, whatever, say fuck you to gender, that's the point. Like, not trying to emulate the queens specifically that you see. I feel like that killed a lot here, because I had a friend who, it was very Heathersy, like not Mean Girls, but Heathersy, the way like he tried to come and start like his drag career. And this is like in Baton Rouge. That's like the capital of drag, really, in Louisiana.
Gross.
And like just the stress he put himself under, where he just had to have, like, he spent like $2,000 for his first performance.
No.
Like, down to the props, like he glued these rose petals down a string of like there was like umbrella, because he was doing Umbrella from Rihanna, and it was like an umbrella, and he had these like strings. It was like a whole curtain around that he had to make himself. And it was like, wow. And his outfit had to, because otherwise he would have like disgraced the people who had like made, like who had like adopted him under their drag family, like his drag mother. I'm just like, I thought drag was to just let you have a space to be you, and that just didn't happen. So I kind of stand Dragula, because at least it brings that, like that back, because you're right, you are seeing it under harsh lights without like the glitz and glamour and like the camera angles and the straight people. You know what I mean? Like, so in a sense, I kind of hate RuPaul Drag Race because of that. Because like, you know, once you give it out there in the world, we can't get it back, and you're not giving the history with it. So it just makes it more detrimental to the other kids who think that this is what the scene, like, no, honey, like this was trans people way before, if you want to get serious.
And I was
trans Black people specifically.
And I was gonna say, it's really shitty that it took so long of like fighting and pulling teeth to get RuPaul to actually have trans contestants on. But
and
also,
to admit them, like Peppermint.
Right. But which Peppermint was so fucking great. Let's all acknowledge, like, I love
Yes.
Peppermint, but like also like bio queens. You know, the thing is what RuPaul
like Dolly Parton.
Right, like what
the original, the OG.
Like the side of the story that RuPaul isn't telling is that like she is actually excluding a lot of the same people that were probably heavily in the club scene when she was coming up in the 80s and developing her name. The exact same people. I mean, go watch Paris is Burning if you want a reference to what drag could be. You know what I mean? To where we have come from with drag, and what a true like club scene, the artistry of drag in general is, because like that is where RuPaul came from. Once again, I think she's 100% excluding and isolating people that come from backgrounds that would have been performing right alongside her before she was RuPaul, before she was known. You know what I mean?
And one thing I've noted, like, so now being in Phoenix, where like I've seen RuPaul girls, I've seen Dragula queens, like performers, and like some of my favorite performers are still like the hole in the wall bars that are just like there every single week, like similar to Mississippi, like just like literally just living their best life, putting on just like a fucking amazing show. And what I've noticed is this season of Dragula has been toxic as fuck. And the Boulay brothers actually commented on this in one of their podcasts of like all the drag queen fans are now like into the Dragula community. And so now like literally some of the performers were getting like racial like death threats like a few weeks ago. And like that is what RuPaul like drag race performers face every single season. And it's kind of ridiculous because it's like this is supposed to be something that like we all enjoy and like celebrates the like
And
complexity of our community.
and not to mention the fact that like it's not open for the public viewing anymore. It's behind a paywall now. RuPaul's Drag Race is like it's behind a paywall. I would recommend to everyone who's watching this right now, instead of paying the money for Paramount Plus to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, if you feel comfortable, go to your local gay bar on drag night and watch some of your local queens perform and see what real drag in real time is like. I'm sorry, like I've seen some great performances on RuPaul's Drag Race. I have no disrespect for any of the queens that have come out there. I think they're all fantastic. I think they're all valid. However, there's nothing that compares to the feeling about shaking your ass while the music is pumping through your rib cage because the speakers are too damn loud, while you watch this drag queen give it her all right there on the fucking main stage. Like there's nothing like it. It's a incredible fun experience.
With literally a cut up lazy boy as pads. Like that is
Exactly.
the ultimate version of like just living your best life.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what I had. Starring the drag pot. I mean, you've had a lot of Wood, who is like the fucking chameleon of the coast, like,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
who's the other one? I can't remember.
I had Annie Bellum.
Antebellum. Love
So
Antebellum.
that's another. Everybody watching this, I flirted with the idea of having a lot of on this sweet tea, but like,
Why not have both of them?
I was gonna say that's the thing. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of tension on this podcast. So but yeah, two completely different sides of the spectrum, two different worldviews, and two completely different like performance methods and ideologies. I have other drag queens in line as well to be on the show in the future. And TBH, everybody, TBH, I reached out to a couple of RuPaul queens who are from the Southeast and I heard nothing back. So like, if we could start a campaign right now to like get them on this fucking show,
No.
why not?
Give a smaller queen the platform.
Yeah.
I will.
Smaller
No, that's
performer.
the thing. Like, I will absolutely continue to do that. But I mean, I think I offer up the opportunity for certain big names to be more vulnerable than they normally are. So, you know,
I can dig it. It's your artistic vision.
that's correct. That is correct. Thank you for acknowledging my artistic integrity. So yes, Cameron. Oh, you were just snapping for me. Thank you. Thank you, Cameron.
Yes, I would just like to interject that I think I agree everything being said. I think Drag Race became a factory machine around season 9 when VH1 picked it up, and then from there it's progressed to now being on the paywall. I think the first 8 seasons are like the golden years of Drag Race. But yes, just to get back to that original point, yeah, the toxicity of the Drag Race fans in particular is some of the most toxic nonsense I have ever seen, ever. Racist out the wazoo,
Yes.
you know. And it's just RuPaul is slow with projecting the identity of being a true ally for the rest of the alphabet mafia. You know what I mean? I think RuPaul is too busy being a producer a lot of the times and not thinking about the human beings that come through the machine he has made.
So
you know?
just for the sake of argument, I agree, but I also don't give like honestly, like seeing all that I've seen and hearing all I've heard about RuPaul, I don't even give RuPaul the benefit of that doubt. I think that RuPaul is 100% a money-making machine, and I only think that.
Oh yeah.
I think that RuPaul. I think that RuPaul
RuPaul's Frack Race.
I was gonna say, I think that RuPaul isn't that so fucking crazy about the whole fracking thing? Anyway, I think that I think that
Fracking.
I think that RuPaul will only do things that she knows will benefit her show and her brand. And if that means
Oh yeah.
having to hope that people conveniently forget statements that she's made in the past or people that she's barred from being on the show in the past, she'll do it. She'll
Yeah.
do it in a heartbeat.
Or like when they won the Grammys, did y'all notice the people she invited on stage? All cis white men.
Oh yeah, the entire like the entire production company is RuPaul and a bunch of white men, old white men, you know. So yeah, it definitely comes out to. But like when it started to hit that paywall, and when Drag Race became international, we've got Holland, Australia, UK, España, Italy just started, Canada, and me and my boyfriend are going through season 7 of the original, and you could see how like each episode was like really individualized and produced as its own kind of thing. And then like now Rue will sit on the front of the TV screen and do like 3 seasons worth of the little bites that she does in one take. And it's just like, oh, so you really just are trying to pump these out. I mean, obviously, yes, Rue is in it for the money at the end of the day, but now it kind of just seems like, oh, like that's all she cares about at this point. Like at the beginning, it felt like, and a lot of queens who are close to RuPaul will say, like, it felt more genuine in those early years, like genuinely trying to put out that platform. But it was a lot of the things RuPaul says is problematic, absolutely. And like people like Peppermint in particular, like Peppermint was identifying as trans woman at that point, but because Peppermint was not very female presenting at that point, she got through basically. And it was like things like that had to slowly deteriorate. And it's taken to like the UK just had their first AFAB queen, assigned female at birth queen, and she got a knee injury and was out like 2 days. So it's like because they're now turning these seasons out like in 30 days, you know. So anyway, that's just my take on the whole Drag Race thing. But yes, at the end of the day, to bring it back to the original topic, the fans are toxic, and it's just like chill out, stop being racist to Black queens and other queens of color, please.
I do hate to interrupt, but I do have to go. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I figured this is probably about to be the wrap-up phase.
Yeah.
And before we go, support local drag. Go out
Yes,
this
support
week and
local drag.
support your local drag performers.
Yes.
Period. Pert.
All right. Well, this has been a big old gulp. Thank you all so much for coming out in the woods to be with me tonight. You have all been troopers. I know that I kept y'all up pretty late, but I think we've all had a fun time staying up late together. Have we
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, wouldn't trade it for anything else. My
Wait,
Gayborhood host.
What light upon yonder window breaks? Is that Sai coming back to say goodbye? Oh my gosh, the camera turned. The camera turned.
Yes, I just needed to say yes. Great.
All right. Okay, everybody.
Well, thank y'all so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Good night,
absolutely.
Alex.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody. And we will see y'all next week, as always, right here on Out in the Woods. Mwah.